with WC21 UK Productions Limited, who is
Hello.
one of the great archaeology, antiquarianism YouTube creators.
I like all of that.
Big fan of your videos. You like me. You go all over the country. You explore ancient lost places, which a lot of the time the places you go to, there's barely any information out there on these
Well, I
places.
think that's probably it's probably ended up being my big sort of unique selling point for the channel is that a hell of a lot of the stuff that I put out there, I can say has never been put on video before. They really are.
Or even on image. You can't find
It's not even a photo.
Absolutely. Exactly.
Absolutely. So I think that's a key. And what's I guess is so rewarding about that is I have this little thing that I get a bit bored about the amount of Stonehenge stuff that there is on YouTube and everywhere. Basically, the sort of false sucking vortex that is Stonehenge.
Yeah.
And people put a Stonehenge video out there about sort of nothing has been discovered, and yet it gets 200,000 views.
Yeah,
when
of course.
there is in fact all these other places that nobody's ever put a camera on and talked about. And what's really rewarding is how you get in the comments people, just blown away by these places.
Absolutely. Yeah, thousands of stone circles in the country, and Stonehenge is pretty much the only one that ever makes it into the news for sure. And there's always a new, Daily Mail article or whatever nonsense saying there's a new discovery there, and it never really is.
It's never really a new
Not
discovery,
really.
is it? So I share that. I think obviously we do acknowledge how important Stonehenge is, but it's not whole.
Of course.
It's not the whole story, and I think I share that with Adam Morgan Ibbotson, who of course you had on a few weeks ago. Adam's a little bit like sort of the gateway drug. You get Adam Morgan Ibbotson, and then you get me. Right? The heart.
I like that. That. Yeah.
He shares that. I mean, he's had great success with the Stonehenge. It is thumbnails, hasn't he? Sort of. It'll be a Stonehenge title and a Stonehenge thumbnail, and then it's not about Stonehenge,
Yeah, exactly.
The
But
Stonehenge
it's a
of the
recognisable
North
thing, isn't it? Yeah, it's a recognisable thing. I suppose it's like King Arthur and, the Dark Ages, the early Middle Ages that we're going to talk about today. King Arthur is the thing that gets people in.
It does, doesn't it?
There'll be an Alice Roberts about King Arthur on the TV, and it's really got nothing to do with King Arthur,
I was going to ask you about this, Pete. You're not into King Arthur, are you?
I love King Arthur. I don't think he was real necessarily, but I love all the myths that go into it, and I love the real individuals that inspired the myth. I mean, for me, I think he's a combination of many different figures who've been sort of just converged into this one singular person. I think there's a guy called Ambrosius Aurelianus. I think he's probably Arthur.
Yeah,
I think he's probably Arthur as well.
Yeah, sort of Ambrosius is the one that I sort of has that sort of feel about him, doesn't he?
He seems pretty Arthurian.
What fascinates me though is the, he's down sort of in Cornwall, he's in Wales, but he is also very present here in the Northwest, where where I do the bulk of my filming is in the Northwest.
Absolutely,
and he is very strong here. And of course, if you go back years ago to Michael Wood, In Search of the Dark Ages, an absolute classic TV series. Pretty sure it's in that at that time they were associating Arthur with Byrd Oswald fort, the Roman fort on Hadrian's Wall. I don't know.
Yeah, he spends a good amount of time up on Hadrian's Wall in that series. He did a later one, In Search of Myths and Legends.
Oh,
and
yes.
There's an episode about King Arthur, and he goes to. There's a fort north of Hadrian's Wall. It's called High Rochester.
Oh yes.
And he goes there, and he thinks that might be the Battle of Camblegana. Is it? Is Arthur's last battle?
Ah, no, I've not seen, because I've been to High Rochester, and I've done 2 films there actually, and I didn't know he'd done that. So I must be.
I didn't know you'd been there. I'll have to watch those.
Yeah, they're quite early ones, so they're a little bit shonky, but it's a great fort. But the
I've
best
been there
thing,
too. I loved it there.
did you go to the Tube just outside the fort?
No.
So if you follow Deer Street south, I don't know,
Yeah.
possibly a mile, no more than a mile, you can see the fort from this place. Follow the line of Deer Street, just in a field. There is still a round circular stone roadside Roman tomb,
Ooh.
and you can still see a carved, probably it's a hare on it, and a carved diamond shape. And if you go back, I think to the 18th century, there were 3 of them there. Sadly, as is but there is a round Roman tomb, like the sort of thing you'd see in Italy, with the stone.
That's incredible.
With the stone still there.
It's a
Absolutely
weird
amazing.
place, isn't it? Because it's still inside what appears to be a working farm,
Yes, that's
and
right.
you sort
yeah.
of you just sort of park up, and you're kind of in someone's house, and it's and they've
And
just
it's
got their house
fascinating.
built into the fort.
It's fascinating that farm is probably sort of, there's some sort of continuity with that farm to the fort, isn't there? As the fort fell.
It's old, isn't it? It's totally old. Yeah.
But it's got some incredible sort of surviving gateway, hasn't it? With a springer, there's an arch springer sort of still on it.
And you can see actual Roman walls, which are kind of rare, really.
Yeah. And when you think that is, it must be 15, 20 miles north of the wall.
Yeah.
And it continued as a Roman fort, I think, if memory serves me correctly, up to 330, 350, something like that. So long after the days of the Antonine Wall, there's still a functioning Roman fort 20 miles north of Hadrian's Wall. We do not understand properly that relationship between Roman Britain and the north of the wall at that sort of time. There's something very interesting went on there.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. There's I'm probably going to butcher the pronunciation, but Trapron Law. Have you ever heard of that place? Which is it's kind of outside of oh God, what's the place called? It's south of Edinburgh, basically. It's in Lothian. It's in the borders, but the north side of the borders. And a massive Roman hoard was found there from the 5th century AD. And it's all this silver. It's all this Roman silver, and it's been sort of turned into hack silver a little bit. And there's an idea that it was probably used to pay off somebody who lived there in order to help with the defences of Britannia at the end. Lots of different ideas of what it is, but you should look into that. You'd like
that sounds
Trapron Law.
That sounds great, because on my last video on Sunday, I did Cramond, the eagle, the Roman eagle on the beach at Cramond, which is just sort of what would it be? Just slightly north along the coast from Edinburgh.
Oh, nice.
Really interesting. And again, you've got that you've got the sort of 2 quite tight phases of where we know from the archaeology the fort was in use, with the Antonine Wall period, and then with the Severan campaigns into the early 3rd century. But the archaeology suggests that after 211, once Severus is dead, and that's the last time they ever really bother up there, but a sort of a Roman type life seems to carry on there at this fort. It remains it's so fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, I love this. I mean, we don't necessarily have this so much in Britain, but beyond the Rhine frontier, you have Goths in the 4th century AD living outside of the Roman Empire, and they live in villas, and they're these Romanized Goths who were probably serving in the army. Then they've gone home and they've built Roman-style villas just beyond the frontier. So I wonder if there were some mercenaries in the beyond the Roman frontier in Britain that were doing a similar sort of thing, who were kind of Romanized. They got used to the nice bathhouses and all that, and then they took it home with them.
I mean, the thing is, fundamentally, there are gates in Hadrian's Wall, aren't there?
Yeah.
So
people were coming from both sides. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the idea of it being just a barrier stopping anyone from coming in, I think that's wrong. I think there was trade going back and forth, and I think there were a lot of people beyond the frontier who served the Romans.
It's such a wonderful sort of enigmatic and mysterious period. One of my favourite videos within the last year or so was, have you ever been to Burns Walk?
No.
Oh, there's an unrecorded major event took place there, It's
There as well.
it's a big Iron Age hill fort. Probably again, probably 15, 20 miles north from Hadrian's Wall.
Okay.
Big Iron Age hill fort, which you could see from the line of Hadrian's Wall on the other side of the Solway Firth. It's so prominent. And each side of that hill fort, there are still to this day gigantic Roman earthworks, marching camps with tituli. And for years, in the sort of 50s and the 60s, I think, when it was trendy for us to think that everybody was all friendly,
Yeah.
the interpretation of this site was that the hill fort had long been abandoned, and the Romans, who had a fort 10 miles south at Birons, if that, used it as practice. So it was they used this old derelict fort for practice. But in more recent times, they've done the metal detecting and the analysis, and it looks like there was a full-on assault on the southern side of this fort. There's an absolute barrage and bombardment of missiles in the gateways of this fort. So I think there's a significant unrecorded events happened there. So fascinating.
I love that. It's interesting, isn't it? Because you hear about the forts where, like Maiden Castle, where it used to be thought there was a violent assault, and then it's sort of we have to walk back from that, and people say no, it wasn't a violent assault. Everybody, people joined the Roman Empire voluntarily, but there's got to be some fights somewhere.
Yeah,
there's got to be some fights somewhere.
Well, I
They
think
don't just come
certainly,
along and everyone just gives up.
certainly in the northern part of the country, and certainly north of there's a reason why they built two walls, isn't there? It was there were problems. It was problematic. There were issues, So
I mean, I would think the reputation of Rome was not as strong up there, probably. Like for the southern Britons, who have just kind of witnessed Gaul being conquered by Julius Caesar, there's the threat of Rome is probably quite strong. But if you go far north, they're not going to be that fussed.
yeah, I mean, there's all that evidence, isn't there, that in the south of the country they were living a Roman lifestyle anyway, weren't they?
They had coins.
They had all the coins. They had the wine and all that sort of stuff. But then, similarly, there's a hell of a lot of Roman stuff came out of Stanek, didn't it? In Stanek, the supposed refuge of Venutius and all that sort of Cartimandu, all that sort of thing. So fascinating stuff. I'm just going to say for your viewers, just in case they think I look a bit uncomfortable, it is simply because I am uncomfortable. I have hurt my back, so I'm actually standing up for this today because it's reducing the sheer agony. I don't know what caused it. I did fall into the River Wear last week. Looking for Roman bridge masonry, like you do. But I've been absolutely fine in the week since then until yesterday. So I've got some emergency sort of supplies. But if I look a bit uncomfortable at any time.
The things you do for us. Thanks for going in.
We've agreed We've agreed to a safe word, by the way. So
we've got a safe word. Can I call you by your real name, or do I refer to you as
absolutely,
WC?
Yes. So it's Darren. Yes, please do call me Darren. Yep.
If Darren disappears, then that's the end of it. Really, I'll take over and I'll carry on as we get Darren medical attention. Where did you get your name from?
My parents.
Not Darren.
Oh, I don't. I was born in the 1960s. It's obvious. WC21 UK Productions Limited. Oh, it's so complicated. This. I have, and I am in a slight moral quandary about it, Pete, because I have revealed it, but I have revealed it to paying members on my channel. So it's like a sort of a perk. So I won't go into the full detail with it, but there's a sort of a joke, basically, that I, as in me, my character, if you like, in these documentaries, is that I think I should have been on the BBC. So because I haven't been on the BBC, I've got this slightly grandiose but meaningless production company name. With the UK in brackets is the significant thing, because in my delusion, one day there's going to be an Italian one and an American one and an Australian one. So it's a play on my sort of frustrated ambitions, really. And it just amuses me to have a completely meaningless name.
I like it. I like it. I like it. How, if you don't mind me asking, I mean, is this this might be another one? But how did you get into doing this? How did you get into these making these videos?
So I guess there's quite a few sort of aspects to that. I I've always been into history. I didn't pursue a career with it for all sorts of reasons. Had a career in business, sadly. But I'd always been into history. You know, I do have some qualifications. I got grade A in O level and A level history.
Oh, there we go.
But it stopped there. So I've always been interested in history, and I've always been interested in television. So growing up, I was, and I guess I've described myself as a bit of a fan of archive British television. So there's sort of two things there, and I guess really, Pete, it was with the advent of mobile phones becoming pretty good video cameras that I started to think, well, actually, I could perhaps have a go at it. I had a go of it probably 15 years or so ago, but I think once the mobile phones became good, it sort of it's like a gateway. It just makes you think, actually, and you can actually edit them to start with. You can actually film them on your phone, can't you?
Yeah,
and edit them on your phone, and then you get a gimbal, and then you get a mic, and then you think, actually, I may as well have a camera. And I think that's how it sort of goes, isn't it?
It's mad, isn't it? Yeah, the amount of gear that you can have now is the same as. I mean, it makes better quality even than TV would 15 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
At a fraction of the price and a fraction of the size as well. So you can look it all around in your bag. You have an entire production company in your bag.
It's yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I think with your mobile phone, that's the best camera you've always got with you, isn't it? You know, you've got that. Right. So I think, you know, I stopped using it in the end, probably for the same reason that everyone does. You get fed up of, as this turns into a sort of full-time thing, your phone is just full of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, all that sort of footage.
Yeah,
so
right.
I think it's quite good to sort of separate it off.
But a dedicated device for it, yeah.
But that's how it happened. I mean, I'm 58, so I grew up in business with the technology coming in later. So I didn't send emails or use the internet at the start of my working career. That's something that came in, whatever it was, 15 years in or whatever. And whilst I would probably describe myself as not particularly very IT savvy, actually, I might not understand how the stuff works, but I'm quite good at picking it up.
Yeah.
And, you know, once I realised that I could film and edit and make quite a nice looking film, you know, that was like, you know, it was a chance to do something which perhaps I'd always sort of wanted to do. And combining that with my interest in history seemed like the perfect. And of course, there's a weird sort of humorous sort of side to the videos as well. So it's got a sort of a, you know, it's sort of enabled me to scratch a lot of itches, so to speak.
Absolutely. You've got the passion for it. You've got the love for it. And I think that, for me, that's the most important part. And you can tell, you know, watching the videos, when someone's loving doing it and they love the era, they love the topics. It's important.
Well, that probably goes back to actually, you know, when I was really like a young kid, I can remember I used to do a lot of walking in the countryside, particularly with one of my grandmothers. And that's when I got into landscape archaeology, because I would see, even as a youngster, I would see a sunken holloway in the countryside and think, this is really old. Yeah. You know, this has got like this for having been here for a long time.
Yes.
And so I've had, for as long as I can remember, I've had that absolute fascination with what is the significance of that bump in the ground. You know, I think that's I had that bug all my life, really.
Yeah, same. Yeah. I would also be taken on walks as a little child and just got obsessed with stone circles and hill forts and castles. I just used my imagination, really, was the big part of it. It wasn't, I mean, I also went and, you know, did A-level and GCSE and studied history at university and all that, but that wasn't what got me into it. That was just because I didn't know what else to do.
Yeah.
It was just sort of on a path, but it was just the wandering around places. I mean, and this is why this channel that I do, because I did my main channel, History Time, which is more long documentaries, but this channel, Pete Kelly, is just an excuse for me to wander around and go and visit places and explore places. And I've absolutely loved it for that. Legitimate excuse.
I think it's on this channel that you did one a while ago. Was it the Braunston? What's
Braunston
that?
Goddess, yeah. That was
Braunston
end of
Goddess.
last year, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was on this channel. I saw that. That was. I loved that video. I'd never heard of that. I'd never heard of that thing, and I can't promise I won't go and do one myself on it at some.
Oh, you may as well.
It's
it's pure,
right up my street.
pure speculation. Pure speculation.
It's a funny looking thing, isn't it?
Yeah. But I love things like that where it's just there's not much information on it. Barely anybody knows, who even found it. In the 20th century, it's just sort of appeared. It's been stuck by the church and forgotten about. Until one of us lot comes and looks at it.
Is it? But it's churches, isn't it, Pete? I mean,
it's always churches.
Churches are just these incredible receptacles of all the old bits of a village, aren't they? All the old clutter. If it doesn't get destroyed, it gets bunged in the church, and that's what they are such a valuable.
100%, yeah. Either gets incorporated into the church somehow, or just sort of left outside or left in the porch. There's an idea that just the detritus of the millennia just gets shoved in there.
That's
it?
right. It's wonderful, isn't it? It really is.
Absolutely.
Really great. And are you based in Nottinghamshire? Is it?
I'm in Nottingham. I'm right in the middle of the country, which is great because I can go.
So I don't know
anywhere.
very much about that area. I imagine you're fairly light on stone circles. Are you there?
Very light on stone circles. That I live kind of near to a henge, actually. No stones there, but there's not many. There aren't many henges. And not many hill forts, really. There are some sort of.
There's not many hills, I guess. Is
not
part
many
of the problem.
hills. Yeah. There's not much. I mean, it's been heavily farmed over the millennia. So
a lot of Roman roads, I would imagine. You've got quite a lot of Roman roads.
Roman activity, actually, because the Romans liked it when there were lots of farms. They could make a lot of money from that. There's a Roman. I live near to a Roman town. Without revealing too much about where I am, I live near to a Roman town, actually, and.
Is it the one that's got little fragments of wall?
No, there's nothing left.
Not that one,
unfortunately, nothing at all. Stukely visited actually. What was I going to say? Yeah, the other day I found out that Leicester, actually, which is kind of near to me, that has some of the best evidence of post-Roman Britain, which I had no idea because you can't you can't visit much of it. But when the archaeologists move in, anytime they do any work there, when there's buildings being made, they find all sorts of post-Roman stuff.
That's interesting. Well, you've got the what's it called, the Jury Wall there, haven't you?
Yes,
in Leicester, which is
but
probably
it's been closed for about 7 years or something.
But I believe it is now finally open, isn't it?
Is it finally open now?
I think so. Yeah. About 2 years ago, I did a very cynical video where I basically put a camera on a stick over the fence there. And I did a lot of moaning about it, but I think
that's the sort of thing I do too.
I think I've seen something that I think it has reopened because I mean the jury wall. I think it's
incredible.
It's got the highest surviving piece of Roman wall or something like that. And if you look at the old, there are pictures of it from the 18th, 19th century, that sort of thing, where it's incorporated in. There are all later buildings sort of built sort of into it, so it has got this. There is this implication of absolute continuity of stuff happening in the Roman ruins there.
You often wonder how a structure like that would survive, and it's like, okay, yes, it was incorporated into other things, and they've just taken the other things away. That makes sense.
Yeah, I think when you see them surviving to that sort of height, it's not just a stump in the ground sort of thing. Then
I can't exactly remember. I think it's 2-3 stories. It's
big. It's part of the Principia, I think, if I remember.
Yeah,
or it might be the gym. Actually, it might be something to do with the gym, possibly.
Gymnasium. Classic. Classic.
But,
where are you based?
So I actually live in North Yorkshire. Which is also very unhelpful when I explain that to people, because people then immediately start thinking I'm in York and Ripon and places like this. I'm 2 hours away from all of those.
Yorkshire is a country in itself.
It is. I'm in the old West Riding. Now you have to be careful because a lot of Yorkshire people, born and bred, don't like to accept that any of Yorkshire is in the northwest. But the little bit that I'm in is in the northwest. We are sandwiched where North Yorkshire cuts into Cumbria to the north and Lancashire. So actually, if I could walk out of my village in 5 minutes, I'll be in North Lancashire. So to give you an idea
You
of,
also live in a great place because you're also right in the middle of everything.
it is fantastic. You've got, well, in terms of landscapes, we're on the northern edge of the Forest of Bowland. We've got the Yorkshire Dales there. We've got the Eden Valley above us. We've got the Lake District there, and we've got Morecambe Bay. So you can drive out an hour in any direction and be in, stunningly diverse landscapes. And obviously, likewise, from a historical point of view, because we have a lot of upland, a lot of upland sort of terrain. There's a really good survival.
Oh
The
yeah.
old
Oh
the
yeah.
old survivorship bias is strong here. You walk up
100%.
onto moors and there is just stuff that hasn't been destroyed.
My closest is the Peak District, which is about an hour north, and that is it's just phenomenal. Similar sort
Yeah.
of landscape where everything is just incredibly old. Even when there are, farm boundaries and things, sometimes they're like, they look like they're 1,000 years old.
Yeah.
And some of them are. Some of them are ridiculously old.
Well, I would like to get to. I have done a few in the Peak District, a few films in the Peak District. I would like to do some more, funding permitting, because
Yes.
I walked the Peak District extensively. I used to be really keen fell walker when I was a bit younger, so I do know the Peak District very well. In fact, one of my that I'm going to talk about is in the Peak District.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh yes. So it is. So it is.
yeah.
So it
There's,
is. Yes.
of course. I
Yes.
mean, Arbor. If we look at
Incredible
Arbor,
place.
I
Incredible
mean,
place.
people, want to go on about Stonehenge, fair enough, but nobody goes on about Arbor. What an absolutely astonishingly incredible site that is.
I mean, if anybody listening would like to go and have a very special experience somewhere where there's nobody else there, go to Arbor because it's the same scale as Stonehenge, except all the stones they've still fallen over. Nobody's put them back upright because the stones at Stonehenge had fallen over. They just
Yes.
got put back upright. At Arbor they're still fallen over, but it's got this incredible henge around it, and there's nobody else there. That's the
Yeah.
best bit.
You just have it to yourself, don't you?
Yeah,
It's just,
you might have one or two other people pop by, but
there's something very magical about that, about the fact the stones are toppled as well,
yes,
because you
exactly.
do get that sense that that was a deliberate act at some stage of toppling, and then it's just
Yes,
been frozen at
yes.
that point. They closed the henge down, they pushed them over, that was it, and it's
And
just
somebody
stayed like
placed a
that.
big barrow next to it as
Oh
well.
yeah, there's a huge Bronze Age barrow sort of built into the thing, and there's another lovely barrow, isn't there? Just over Galley, something like that.
And it's
But yeah,
near Benty Grange actually. It's just next to Benty Grange where there's an Anglo-Saxon barrow cemetery where
oh,
one of the earliest helmets was found. Actually, there's a boar helmet, a helmet with a depiction of a boar on it, and it was found before Sutton Hoo. And
oh
it was
wow.
kind of this almost birth of the Dark Ages in archaeology in Britain, really, because it was a good generation before Sutton Hoo, and it was when the people dug there, they realised, hang on, we can find
So
actual
what's
things from the Dark Ages.
what sort of period is that? Do you remember the dates of that
About
helmet?
600 AD.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, so more
Because
or
I
less the
think
same as Sutton Hoo.
there's quite a strong suggestion that the Romano British sort of held sway in a good chunk of what is now the Peak District for
Yeah, I mean,
quite a long period.
could well have done. I mean, it's got Christian iconography on it, so there's a cross on this helmet as well as a boar, which is this sort of seem to be this Germanic symbol. So it may be a mixture of the both.
I did a video sort of about searching for Lutodarum, the Roman town where they made all the lead or controlled the
Is that
lead
in the Peak
industry.
District? Is it?
Well, we don't know for sure where it is in the Peak District, but yes, it is in the Peak District. Uh, Worksworth is one of the potential locations. But when I was researching that, the interesting thing, in fact, I made that film with a lady called Penny, who I think you did a dig with. She's one of my members, and
Penny was at Deventio last summer.
Yes.
and we dug together. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's Penny. So I made this video with her, and she found this fascinating study that had showed that I can't remember exactly how the science worked, but they showed that the lead production was higher than during the Roman period. I think it was something like around about 500.
Oh wow.
So Roman Britain has gone, and yet presumably it coincided with some attempts to rebuild something or other in the vestigial Roman Empire. They've come back, and
Had another go.
production's gone up again. It's absolutely astonishing.
Wow, how interesting. Yeah, well, then there's got to be a lot of continued attempts at doing things that the Romans had done. People carried on using the roads for sure.
Yeah.
Talking of lead, somebody told me that everybody in Rome and Britain had lead poisoning.
I think
all
that's
the
in the
thing-
empire, isn't it? The whole of the Roman Empire.
just everybody had massive lead poisoning. It doesn't sound very nice.
And they knew, apparently, the Romans.
Yeah.
The Romans knew that they were poisoning themselves. They were aware of lead poisoning, but they didn't have any other
There's no
ideas. So
Yeah, what can you do? What can you do?
astonishing.
Should we start talking about some Dark Age citadels?
Let's do that, Pete. Yes,
Who
because
do
we've
you wanna
discovered
start?
we have a sort of a passion about this, don't we? We share an interest in it.
Yes. So I was looking up the other day. I was trying to work out just how many of these things there are, and it's quite hard to find
It is
an
difficult,
exact
isn't it?
amount. In terms of hill forts, I mean, most people are going to be familiar with Iron Age hill forts, or possibly even Bronze Age hill forts. There are some, but mostly the Iron Age ones, and there's thousands of Iron Age hill forts. In terms of hill forts from the Dark Ages, or post-Roman period, or early Middle Ages, or late Antiquity, it all means the same thing. There's not that many. We're talking, 100, I'd say, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, 100 is the figure that I think Historic England quotes for these very small hill forts built on
Yeah.
rocky knolls in the northern part of the country. I think they
And
quote
the
100
West
for that.
as well.
And the West, yeah. But I guess the other challenge is because you have this assumption a lot of the time that even if all the evidence says this was in use in the Dark Ages, there's no evidence it was in use in the Iron Age. The general assumption is that it was built in the Iron Age and came back into use in the Dark Ages.
There's a lot of assumptions. Yeah.
But actually, interestingly, there's quite a few of these where there is no evidence of Iron Age anything, and there is evidence of Dark Age. So to me, there's a subsector of these which are, yes, you've got the Iron Age hill forts that we could clearly see came back into use, but then you've got others that appear to potentially have actually started from scratch at that time.
Absolutely. And there's plenty as well that were still used during Roman Britain, which I always find interesting.
Yes.
Clearly, the Romans had some people who lived in hill forts that they were okay with.
Yes.
Not all of them. A lot of them they would move down to their town that they'd build, but some of them they just let live in the fort.
And they quite often put little sort of temple in there, didn't they, or something like that? To make it all right, to make it Romanized and acceptable.
Exactly. Yes, and then there's many that are built. I mean, there are some that are built in the post-Roman period, and it's acknowledged that there's no evidence before. I'm thinking of Trustees Hill. I think that was one in Regeth where it was built in the built afresh, and I think the moat or the Mott of Mark as well.
Yes, that's right. There's no evidence of Iron Age for the Mott of Mark.
So there are some that are just built afresh, and there's another area as well, which is Pict land, which that's very interesting because in Pict land you have some where there's continuity, from the very earliest times all the way through. The Romans never conquer the place, and they just carry on living in these forts,
doing their stuff.
always.
Yeah,
doing
their
thing.
stuff. So, shall we dive into the?
Let's dive in. Where do you want to go?
Shall I go first with the Mott of Mark?
Let's do it. Let's start with the Mott of Mark.
You've got a little bit
of already.
You've got a little bit of footage. You could choose whatever you want to do on that.
Lovely stuff. I'm going to share my screen. Ho! Here we go.
I get to see it as well. Good.
You get to see it as well. Lovely. Here we go.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. So
See, I call this the moat of Mark, but I'm sure I probably butchered that.
I think I went there when I made this film a few years ago. I think I went there calling it the Moat of Mark, but I think a local corrected me
Ah,
and said Mott
it's
of
always
Mark.
good to speak to
But
the
quite
locals,
often
isn't
that
it?
locals do that to me, and they're just winding me up and they're telling me to say it wrong. So
It's actually the Motti. It's the
it's
Motti of
Motti,
Mark.
yeah.
It's the Motte.
the
Yeah.
Motte of Marcus.
The Mote
Yes.
of Marker. Yeah.
So this is a significant one for me because this is the first one that I went to where really the whole concept of a Dark Age hill fort hit me.
Yeah.
It's not something I'd really properly sort of thought about until I went here. So this one is very small, which is typical of these, and they have good, very tight carbon dating here, and it's about 100 years. It's something like about 550 to about 650, so something like that, with absolutely nothing from before. So it appears that that's when it came into existence, and it had a stone and timber rampart. You can see there how small it is.
It's tiny. It's tiny.
Pretty tiny. And yeah, so about 550. Now, interestingly, well timed there. I've got my fire effect coming in because there's vitrified stonework there, which is dated to about 630. There it is. And there's me clambering on it. Look. So there was an event here at this fort in 630 where it was burnt, and the fire was so intense that it effectively turned the stone to like melted glass, basically.
Yeah.
So what is that telling us? So it's an interesting date, isn't it? 630. This is in old money. This would be Dumfriesshire. This is Dumfries and Galloway nowadays, on the coast. So the idea really, 630, if it's been attacked and burnt, are we looking here at the citadel of one of the princes of Reged, that post-Roman sort of kingdom, that is then attacked by the incoming English? Because it's around about that time that the Northumbrians are starting to come here.
Exactly that time. Yeah.
Are we looking at, are we looking at that event? The other thing that is fascinating about this is that during its relatively short life, it was sort of highly productive in terms of metalwork. So
Yes.
iron, copper, silver. They found all of the 130 fragments of crucibles and over 400 metal molds. So it's, for a short period of time, it's producing all this stuff, and it's got foreign imports as well. So we've got evidence here of sea trade. It's got Gaulish ware. It's got Roman Samian ware and Roman glass that is not, antique stuff from the time of Roman Britain. It is contemporary. It's sort of 6th century stuff.
I put the video on again from the start.
Yeah, see, I'm always happy to watch myself over and over.
Yeah, it's
good.
fascinating, isn't it? Yeah, because as you say, there's a lot of high status metal work done here. I say high status because most people couldn't afford it. So this is it's expensive things to be doing. I think, is there a jeweler here as well? I can't really remember. Or there's
a Christian. There's a Christian. I just consult my notes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do a Russell Brand on you here. Spend 5 minutes. It's here somewhere. Yes, it's this one. I think it was a Christian, sort of Christian fragment.
Yeah, that's right.
A little bit of sort of Christian sort of fragment there.
So it's not everybody. It's not everybody who's living like this. This is quite an extraordinary place. It seems to be, anyway, to me, because they are trading, as you say, with the Mediterranean, which is absolutely bonkers. Or at least something from the Mediterranean is getting here somehow. As many of these sites up the sort of western seaboard of Britain have this same material. So it's like, are they all speaking to each other? It's fascinating.
It sort of becomes, I think it becomes impossible not to conclude that that's very likely, isn't it?
There's got to be some sort of
when
knowledge
you look at this.
of who's living in the next fortress along in this, and
I'm also fascinated with the gap here, between the end of Roman Britain and this. This is sort of 150 odd sort of years after.
Yeah.
So I don't, what was there any form of continuity in that sort of area? Is there some remnant of Roman Britain sort of era trading, or are we talking about something that started when Roman Britain is a distant, fading memory?
It's interesting, isn't it? Because some of these hill forts, they're often seen as being a continuity from the Roman world. Like at Cadbury Castle in Somerset, it's often seen as being this continuation because there's some evidence of them building in a sort of semi-Roman style, not quite as advanced as the Romans, but a kind of Romanesque thing. Whereas here, it seems like it's something new.
It does,
It
doesn't
seems
it?
like it's not a continuation, but it's something new. Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting place, and that was a significant one for me because that's what really brought these to my attention, that these things exist.
And
Possibly
in that area as well, it's a very rich area.
it's
the
a great
Galloway
area. It is a great area.
I keep mentioning it, but Trustees Hill is just a little bit further.
That's
along.
not far. That's one I've not been to, but that's not far away, is it?
It's similar. It's a similar sort of place. They also have a very set end date, which is around. It's a little bit later, I think, than the Mott of Mark, which is quite suspicious. It's like the Anglo-Saxons were coming along and taking out.
Have they got any
one at a time.
vitrification there as well?
I believe there is. There is
Really?
vitrification. There's also a Pictish stone there, so that's another thing that's hard to explain because it's kind of outside of traditional Pict land.
Yeah, definitely.
It
Well,
used to be thought. No,
That's
you
a strip
carry on.
of. I get up there to do. I'll probably do 2 or 3 films a year along there because it's sort of it's doable for me. There and back in the day, and it is again, it's very rich and seemingly. Well, it certainly doesn't get sort of very much coverage.
No, it doesn't. It
There's a
doesn't.
lot there. There's a lot of interest in the old sort of Roman thing we was talking about earlier, but there's a lot of Roman stuff
Yes.
going on all along there as well, sort of that sits really outside of the sort of normal accepted narrative that they weren't there.
It's an interesting place, isn't it? Yeah, because it's in Scotland, but it's kind of separate from the rest of Scottish history in a way because
Yes.
it's kind of been its own little thing because it was British and then
The Kingdom of
eventually-
Strathclyde, wasn't
That's
it?
right. Yeah. And then Vikings get involved as well in the
Yeah.
southern bit, and only eventually it gets incorporated into Scotland, sort of later on. But speaking of Scotland, let's go there next.
What have you got for us then?
I'll share my screen again. This one, possibly a bit cheating. It's possibly not Dark Ages. It's sort of Dark Ages. It's almost a little bit early, if anything. So this is Dunacair.
Oh, not heard of this one.
If I can actually get it on screen. Here we are. So this is the coast of Aberdeenshire. So
Right.
Stonehaven is just behind us, which is to the south of Aberdeen. So we're talking, this is the west coast of, it's not the west coast, it's the east coast of Scotland. It's the big bit that sticks out at the top. And this is just south of Aberdeen. Dunatar Castle is there. That's a very famous castle in Scotland, very iconic. And a while ago, it was realised that underneath Dunatar Castle, there is a Pictish fort. So the earthworks there at Dunatar showed that it was a high-status settlement of the Picts between the 4th century and the 7th century AD, thereabouts, give or take a few hundred years. I believe it's eventually destroyed by Vikings. But only in the last 10 or 15 years or so, a very interesting project has been done on this spit of rock here at the bottom. So in the next bay along from Dunnottar, this is Dunacair. And a load of stuff has been done on Dunacair in recent years, LiDAR and all this. And here's another view of it. Doesn't look like much today, does it? It doesn't look like much.
I'm
And
struggling a bit, Pete,
yeah,
to see, but it's a
and
very flat on
that
the top, isn't it?
it
Is
is.
that
And
that's not
well,
natural? I take it.
well, this little line here is about all that's left of the place,
Ah, yeah.
unfortunately, because it's fallen into the sea. This is an impression of what it may have looked like originally. So again,
Oh
you know,
well.
not super impressive, but you know, big enough. This is a large family group. Let's say there's a few hundred people probably, but it's very early. So this is third, fourth century AD. So this is the
Right.
Roman Empire's still going at this point,
Mm.
and these guys are living up here, far to the north of Hadrian's Wall, and it's the same time as you have all these Picts in the historical sources going down to ravage Roman Britain and all this. Apparently going down along the coast to do it.
Well, that's yeah. That's so. These are the guys that could have
These
possibly been
exactly,
a real pain in the backside on the coast of the
exactly,
North Yorkshire moors.
exactly. These are the guys coming down, and you know these are the reason for the Anglo-Saxons to be hired, if
Yeah,
you
yeah.
believe the historical sources. You know, because the Picts are ravaging the place.
It's a very
Um,
interesting choice of location, that isn't it?
yeah, yeah.
What
I
do
mean,
we
it
take
says that
from that?
you want to protect yourself from the land, don't you?
Yeah, it
If you're
really
living
does,
here,
doesn't it?
yeah. So you know, conflict between groups probably common at this time. Here's a map actually, so just so we have an idea of what we're talking about. I mean, Scotland is massive, absolutely huge, and there's loads of these sites all over the place. So you know, it's really lucky that this was even realised to be anything. And the reason why they realised it is because somebody looked at the old records basically, and there were a load of stones that were found here by teenagers in the
Ah,
1800s. So these Pictish stones had fallen off, pretty much. There's an idea these might have actually been incorporated into the walls of the place because there's
oh,
another fort called Burghead where it has the Burghead bulls were incorporated into the walls. It was
these are
thought.
very distinctive, aren't
So
they?
yeah, so it's not Christian. We'll say
Mm,
that it's not Christian.
definitely.
Um, so yeah, this is very very early Pictish stuff. And as far as I'm aware, this is possibly the earliest Pictish site to have these kind of things. Um, so this is the you know this new identity forming as the Roman Empire collapses up here.
So what period do we think that these are?
Third, fourth century, early,
Wow. Yeah, very early, isn't it?
and there's many fascinating Pictish sites all across Scotland. Burghead being another one. Another one is Tapper North, which I don't know if you've ever heard of that one. That one's incredible because that's thousands of people live in there. It's got 800 roundhouses on a
Oh
big hill
wow.
fort.
And
But I
just
didn't
look
pick
at
that
this.
one. I picked
Just
one where
look.
I hoped that nobody would have heard of it, or few people would have heard of it.
Just look at that location in
Mm,
terms of the North Yorkshire moors, the North Yorkshire coastline, sort of just down the south there on the
yep,
eastern side, where we know that we have the barbarian conspiracy, don't we? Coming
absolutely.
down the coast in sort of 367, wasn't it? I think that was.
Yep, that's
And
right.
you've got those late fourth century line of Roman signal stations
Exactly.
all along that the coast there.
In the right conditions, you could get there and back, same day.
Yes,
You
yeah.
could nip down, do a bit of smash and grab, and go home.
That's it. Astonishing.
But I'm thinking, I mean, this sheds a light for me on the things that we've lost, unfortunately, because you look at this. There's only a tiny shred that's left. Um, how many other of forts like this that have been lost to
Mm.
erosion?
Oh,
Probably
I see.
loads.
So that area of low rock in the front of it is
That
marking
was
the
all
footprint of where it. Oh, yeah. Well,
exactly, and potentially further as well. Um, but yeah, that's fallen away in hundreds of years. There's going to be other forts, surely, that
yeah.
have fallen away as well. But yeah,
So
I'm always thinking we only have part of the picture, don't we?
so do they think that I noticed there's a break between that and the mainland? Do they think that was all joined? I think on the artistic representation it showed it joined, didn't it?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe it would have been a very thin neck, a little bit like what Dunatar is now. Actually, where's the artistic thing?
Oh yeah, so that's showing
there
it
it
is
is. Yeah.
joined.
So, and a little bit like Tintagel in Cornwall as well. Like it would have been
Mm.
this prominent headland where ultimately, come on, it's defence, isn't it? You put it there. There might be religious things as well, being a place apart in another world, but it's a defensive location.
I think that's one that we can sort of definitely say is not ritualistic, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is about what you said was this is about defending themselves from
It's about
whatever's on
defence,
the
isn't it?
land,
That's what it looks like to me. That's what it looks
securing
like to me.
themselves, making themselves safe, and, and possibly with
Yeah.
this essential link to the sea as well.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I think so. But there would have been plenty of forts like this. You know, this is not something where this is not alone. I mean, how many ships could this place put out? A few,
Yeah,
not a whole armada, but get a bunch of these together, you can have a barbarian conspiracy.
yeah, yeah. Knock up the neighbours and
Exactly. But
let's do some conspiring.
And this is tiny compared to some of the other things that are going on in Pictland at the time. There's often been this thing called the riddle of the Picts, or the problem of the Picts, or the mystery of the Picts. Archaeologists have spoken about that for hundreds of years, but they're not that mysterious. It's just we don't have the historical sources, sadly.
No.
But when you look at the archaeology, they just fit in perfectly. And they're Britons. They're
Yeah.
Northern Britons.
They're a northern variant, aren't they?
Yeah. Northern Britons who were never conquered. And that's that. That's what I've got to say about that.
Yeah, really, really interesting. That's totally new to me, that one.
I think that's everything I had to say. So we'll move on to your next one.
Right, so I'll go back to my notes. So yes, let's do Castle Crag next.
Oh, brilliant.
So we've got some a little bit of we've got some video and some
pop-
lidar on this. So if we
this
perhaps
on.
play the video to start with, and I'll
Yeah.
So again, this is behind Raven Crag. You can see on the Ordnance Survey map there, Castle Crag is marked. So it's really tucked away. When we look at the LiDAR in a bit, you'll really see how the location of this is absolutely excellent. It's tucked behind this high summit of Raven Crag in a little sort of side valley, really sort of hidden, protected sort of site. And again, this is one for which there is no evidence to support any argument that this is a Iron Age fort repurposed after the Romans. The only dates that we have from here are pure Dark Ages or early medieval, if you're trendy. 538 to 676, 560 to 690 are the dates there, and it is a great example of this, this rare type. So that's Raven Crag there. So we're behind.
Oh, I love it. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Do you know where those dates come? What were they dating? Do we know?
Yeah, they were dated core samples. So that's the entrance.
Wow.
There. So that's the original entrance. And this sign here, this old dilapidated sign, is in an area. There it is. Look at that. So could you see the earthworks around the top?
That's incredible. Yeah, that is incredible. That's a big piece of engineering.
It's a huge engineering, but relatively small area.
Yeah.
Natural defences on this side, and then built up there. There's that arrow showing you where that sort of gateway is. Right, now, if you just pause it there, I will get to answer your question about the dating. So this classic thing with these Dark Age hill forts is that they're using a rocky knoll. They're on this one, it would be the northern and the western side is really steep, so it's naturally defended, and then they are beefing up where it hasn't got that natural defense. So this is on the sort of eastern, southeastern side. So this is below the sort of high crag. You can see these very significant ramparts here. If you let it play on, hopefully in a minute.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, so there's your natural. You've got your natural there. See where it goes to next. Right, so if you stop it there. Oh, that's my crash. That's my crash.
No.
Yeah.
Was it okay?
If you leave it, it comes back in a minute. There we go. There. So if you pause it there. So this is on the eastern side. So can you see you've got the crag? If you look to the left where there's a tall tree, those high built up ramparts that we looked at earlier are behind that. Then if you follow that along to the right, you can see they completely disappear. So on that side, it's really confusing as to what happened. But it was in that flat area there where the core samples came that they got the dates, the carbon dates from back in late 90s. So the view is generally that it had a moat, and that area that is flat and looks sort of undefended was actually full, really deep water.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And the dates came out the sort of the bottom of the cut of that. So it's very, very unusual. The entrance is just over sort of to the right there. So there probably would have been some form of timber walkway over an artificially dug out moat protecting that on its most exposed side.
So this is Reged again, right?
So yeah, Reged. We've got. I mean, those dates: so 676, 690 at the upper end. We are looking at Reged Northumbrians coming in. We're looking at that time again here.
Any evidence of destruction here?
No, there's no sign of destruction here.
These are the collaborators.
Yeah, up on that top knoll of the knoll there. I think there's two, possibly three hut platforms there. This is quite typical for these Dark Age forts. The hut platforms are typically they've cut it, made it level, and they're on the highest point. They're up on the top.
Yeah, that's the chief's house.
Yeah, that's what it feels like, doesn't it? It feels like a chief. It feels like a place for the chief.
I mean, I often say king because a king is a pretty meaningless title, really, to me, because anyone can be a king. Like, you look at early medieval Ireland, there are 3,000 kings.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's that where the local king is, and if you got taken to this place, I suspect you wouldn't feel very happy about the prospect of of getting out. So what's going to happen?
Depends who you are. Yeah, if you for most people, yes. Possibly if you're a visiting trader, you might be quite happy. Who knows?
Look, to do my Russell Brand, look at the dates again. Look at my notes again.
Yeah.
So it's
any E-ware or B-ware or A-ware here?
No, nothing.
No,
there's never been. If you let it play on, I think there's actually a picture of them taking the core sample in a bit. So again, as with so many of the sites that I cover, there's been no excavation, nothing.
Yeah. I was going to say, I mean, I haven't heard of any digs at this place.
It's
if you Google this place, it's quite hard to find any information. Again,
that's
as
right.
I was saying at the start of this video.
So this is you can see this flat area here at the front.
Yeah.
That thing that the sort of the face that I'm showing there. There's all sign that that's been made steeper. But look how open this bit is here.
It's very open, yeah.
But there is a lip here on the left. There's the remnants of a lip. So if you imagine that all full of water.
Wow.
So I'm walking on that there.
It's an incredible looking place as well. It looks straight out of Lord of the Rings.
It is like something from was it Mordor, isn't it?
Yeah,
that sort of thing. It's really, really interesting. Little known. Again, if we look at what's this about, if you look at this location where it's tucked away, it feels like it's to me it's telling a story of very difficult times where people feel the need to be hidden. They feel the need to have somewhere safe to withdraw to. That certainly in this instance, people would not find it easy to. I think I stack it here. This is my demonstration.
Oh no!
Yes, it is.
Where's the nearest coast from here? How far is the coast?
So we're we're right in the heart, really, of the Lake District here. This is in what Wainwright would have called the Central Fells.
Right.
So
because that is pretty remote, then, isn't it? Because I mean, a lot of these forts.
We are remote. That's part of where it's been artificially sort of made steeper there.
Yes.
You can see how they've sort of defended that.
A lot of these forts have access to the sea, or at least a waterway that goes to the sea.
Well, I think with the Lake District is that I mean, ultimately, all of those rivers are going to the sea, aren't they?
Yeah.
Um, oh, yeah, there's a little picture up at the top there of them taking that core sample. I think it was 1990, it was late 90s, 97, something like that. But this could do with an excavation. This place.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
If you want to cancel that one and just get the lidar up, the lidar's really powerful on this one because it shows. I think it demonstrates very clearly how the how they're utilising what is naturally available.
If anyone's watching and they are an archaeologist and they're looking for a dig, come and dig here.
Yes.
And they have a big budget.
That's it. So you could see in the bottom, currently left corner, is that Raven Crag, and then can you see our fort there?
I can see it.
So it's tucked behind
it
at the head of this little valley. Got that big deep cleft. That's it. Big deep cleft in front of it, and you can see the sort of line of those defences on the exposed side. Isn't that something else?
That's incredible.
Isn't that something else? Now that's not going to be an easily accessible place, really, for day-to-day use, is it? Go down the valley, a mile or two down the valley, you get into much flatter, easier sort of terrain. So it says to me something about fear, need for protection. I can't think what else it's there for, really. Yeah, I had a lot of people on the video sort of saying, "Oh, you're overstating it. It's just a farm." There were a lot of people that argued that this is just a farm. I don't think so.
Well, there's going to be a farm there, but the issue is about that. If you're living in this era where there are hundreds of kings and there are hundreds of other polities who you don't have much of a connection to, they can come and attack your farm at any point.
Yes.
And what are you going to do in that situation? And they did.
I'm sure they did.
And what are you going to do in that situation?
Yeah. The other nice thing with this is that you've got the current public, obviously wonderful, all open access. You can walk where you want here, but there are still public footpaths from the days when that wasn't the case, and the public footpath up from the Thirlmere side goes up and over and drops down to that, and it actually ends at Castle Crag Fort.
Love it.
So it's sort of like, is the public right of way remembering this ancient, possibly, possibly it is, because it does just stop there.
Yeah. How interesting.
So yes, if we've got any wealthy archaeologists online watching,
yes, please come and dig here.
Please come and dig here and give me the television rights to it.
Yeah, absolutely. This is incredible lidar.
It's great, isn't it? So
I'd love to see more of these for other forts.
Yeah, so I'm very fortunate. I have a great guy called Phil Barrett, who's a passionate guy about this sort of stuff, and he provides this for me. I couldn't produce that myself, but it's that really sells it to you, doesn't it? Can you see those ramparts there? Look how clear that cut is.
Clear as day. Clear as day. Yeah.
Really good, isn't it?
I mean, this is not an easy task to build something like this.
No, it's quite a bit of work, isn't it, gone into that? Because you've got ramparts around the sort of the bottom and the artificially dug moats. You've then got ramparts around the whole of the next level, and then you've got the huts on the top level.
Wow,
brilliant!
This is the river, is it?
It's not even a river at that point. It's a tiny little beck, that. Probably ultimately drains into Bassenthwaite, I think that one would.
But you've at least got a bit of water.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you're short for water in the Lake District.
Yeah.
And again, if you've created an artificial moat, then I guess you're collecting water there as well, aren't you?
Yeah. So interesting, isn't it? There's
we will never know.
That's the thing. It's such an untold story, isn't there?
Who was that? Who did that? Absolutely amazing. But it would. I think for me, the key objective with a dig at that one would be to confirm if that is right, that this is a pure creation of the post-Roman period with no Iron Age predecessor.
Yeah,
because that's the sort of sense I think that it gives off.
It looks like it's post-Roman to me. The size of it,
tiny.
it's similar to, you know, Dinas Powys and other places that I know that you put that on your list, and other
Yeah.
places like this to me, where it's not many people are living here, but they're probably quite important people who are.
Yes.
If they are living here, you know, if it may be a seasonal thing. But yeah, we need to dig it.
We
need to dig
do.
more of these
We
places.
do. We absolutely do. The video, if you look at the comments on, there was a lot of people who were just absolutely gobsmacked by.
And
by,
I was
by
one of
it.
those people.
Yeah, I think you was. You hadn't heard of it, is that right, Pete?
I hadn't heard of it, no.
Yeah.
And this is another one where, yeah, it's still quite hard to hear about it because you
Yeah.
Google it and there's barely anything there.
There's nothing. It's
There might be a Wikipedia page, but it says basically nothing about the place.
yeah. It's been on the Ordnance Survey map, I think, for us, you know, going way
Yeah.
back. But
But
that's
these
it.
places get forgotten. They, you know, it may have been prominent at one point, but they get forgotten about.
I think Wainwright, in his pictorial guide for the Central Fells, does refer to it. He typically described these places as British camps.
There we go.
So at least he got. He's sort of getting there with it.
Sort of right,
He
sort
didn't
of
do that
right.
thing of just assuming everything old in the landscape was the Romans.
Well, that's another thing about the Picts, actually. A lot of the greatest things that the Picts built, the Victorians thought they were all Romans.
Attributed them to Romans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Berghead, it was attributed to the Romans to begin with, but really it's this incredible, huge Pictish fort. But yeah,
There we go.
let's go North Wales.
Right.
We're going to go to North Wales, land of many, many, many incredible hill forts. You know, you guys have probably heard of many of them. Dinas Emrys, Garn Bodleian, Traquair. What else we got? Bryn. Oh God, Bryn Urin. All these places, none of which I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about a place called Dinorban, which for me, and I'm sure archaeologists too, it's kind of the one that got away. This is the last tiny little bit that is left of Dinorban, which is quite a substantial Iron Age hill fort, which was occupied all through the Roman period and into the post-Roman age.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
You've got pottery there, you've got metalwork, you've got all the good stuff, right up till the end of Roman Britain. And then, unfortunately, we don't know what happened, because this is what happened to Dinorban.
Ah.
It's gone,
Oh
which
gosh.
is so depressing. Because
And what
it's
sort of period is that, Pete? When did that quarry?
1960s.
Oh, so no.
Recent, yes.
Oh no.
1960s. So the last digs were done in the 1960s by
Knowing that this was going to happen.
knowing that this was going to happen. They did a rescue dig, so they were just trying to salvage anything they could. But quite possibly, the really important bits that would have shown this definitive post-Roman era stuff had already been destroyed, because it had already been mined since the 1800s.
Right.
So, unfortunately, it's just this lengthy story of hill forts being destroyed and mining companies just taking all of our heritage away from us.
So,
And
Pete,
it's not the only one.
in this picture of the quarry here,
Yes.
whereabouts? Where do you know where the hill fort was? Was it on the
It
top
was on the
of the back, the
left-hand-
rear bit of it?
The left-hand side, stretching into the middle bit. I believe this is a little bit of it that's left over.
Was in that
because-
first picture? Was that a little bit of an embank, a little bit of a rampart there?
Yeah,
Is
this
that
is a
the
bit.
ramp-
This is a bit of Iron Age rampart that's left.
And then the quarry's
last-
sort of over the hill there, is it?
That's right. This is the last bit that's left. I've got some more images as well. This is a slightly better one. So this is the sea over here. This is North Wales, basically. So just that way you've got Snowdonia. That's the very outer bit of Snowdonia. Keep going that way, you get Liverpool. That's like sort of Prestatyn and things like that. And then this bit here, Dinorban. Here's just the little bits that are left of it. It was one of the biggest hill forts
Oh,
in
I was going to
Wales.
say it was
was
all along
huge.
that edge, was it? Right.
Yeah, it was a monster. It was an absolute monster. And it was occupied all through the Roman period. And, if you look
I mean,
at all the reports
that's interesting
and
in
things,
itself, isn't it?
yeah, fascinating in itself, yeah. So clearly some sort of client ruler was living here. or client dynasty or whatever, who were allied to the Romans, or that's what it seems to be anyway.
Mm.
And then after the Roman period, there is evidence. There's just not a huge amount of it. I mean, the archaeologists who went there, they were kind of hoping, they were thinking, we will find similar stuff as we have found at Dinas Emrys, which had just been dug, and Garn Bodleian and a few other places that had been dug in North Wales at the point. But they didn't quite find it because it's already been destroyed. I'm going to show you some other ones as well. I'm going to make you even more depressed.
Are we going to get all right?
This is Britton Ferry in South Wales, where the M5, M4 or M5, can't remember which. What a motorway was built through it. So literally built a motorway through a post-Roman hill fort, where again they'd found evidence of this, fascinating age.
Is that actually it? The bit in the trees?
That's
there?
it. That's the fort.
So the motorway is actually built on top of it.
On top of it.
Oh, the disgrace.
Yeah, and that was done in the 1990s.
Was it?
Here's another one. Clatchard Craig in Scotland. Not too far away from Dunaker. In fact, no, it is far away from Dunaker. This is southern Scotland. This is kind of near Fife. And this is massive Pictish fort.
Looks
very,
big.
Very interesting. Yeah, big Pictish fort. This will have been almost entirely made in the post-Roman period. And it's got these... it's nucleated, so it's sort of like these different sections to it. So there's an idea that it's the elites would be right up at the top, and then there's like various different sections that people would have access to and things, and you have your farm animals and things. And it was possibly a place of assembly.
And presumably that developed over a long period of time, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And now...
Oh, no.
That's what it looks like.
Oh, God.
That's what it looks like now. And that was 1950s. And they did that to get material to make railways from. So so much of the railways of the north of the country are made from this hill fort. Sad, isn't it?
That's the side of the railways that Paul Whitewick doesn't want us to know, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I think Paul Whitewick was involved.
He keeps quiet about this sort of thing, doesn't he?
He does. He's got investment in big railway.
That is something. So there's absolutely none of that left, is it?
There's none of this one left. No.
When we look at that old picture, that is now that big hole in the ground.
That's right. Yeah, try and compare them to each other. But it's sad, yeah, because this one, a fair amount of digging was done, so we know quite a bit about it, and it was a really interesting, fascinating place, and it would have been great to have had it for our generation now to dig, because I'm sure all sorts more would have been discovered.
Gosh,
did I have any more? I've got.
Have you got a folder of depression? Have you?
Yeah, I do. I'm always flying my drone around these hill forts, and I've come across so many that have been destroyed. We're talking, 10, 15, 20 of these forts have been destroyed in the last 100 years. We kind of think of this, you hear a news article about someone bulldozing a pyramid in Guatemala or something. And you think, oh, that's terrible. But it happens here.
Oh, well, that's it. Yeah,
we just don't necessarily realise.
I butt up against that quite often, actually, in sort of discussions that come off of my videos. People sort of with this sort of blind faith or blind optimism that things are great in Britain in that regard.
Right. Yeah, we don't destroy things over here. Well, yes, we do. I've got the evidence.
Again, not wishing to victimise Paul Whitewick in this, but just go and look at HS.
Paul's responsible.
Go and look at HS2.
Paul's project HS2.
That's right. Yes. So much has been destroyed by that, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. There was an idea weren't they going to build that over Stonehenge or something ridiculous? Or they were going to build it like round Stonehenge.
Oh, there's
the Stonehenge landscape.
Well, are you talking about the road? They're still going to do a road tunnel, aren't they?
Is that what they're still doing?
Something, or has that been? I hope that's been cancelled.
I'm not sure. I heard something about an idea to build.
It went on for years. That did the idea of. But I don't know if it's still current or not.
Yeah. We don't need that. Come on, stop building so many roads and railways. Leave some of.
I know people are accused me of shouting at clouds and all this sort of stuff. But I was
Oh, yeah.
I was personally glad when HS2, the bit between Birmingham and Manchester and Leeds was cancelled, because there
Yeah,
was so
same.
much was going under that.
Same. I agree. I agree.
So I was quietly pleased about that. I might get lynched by some people for saying that, but
So this was Dinorban.
that is astonishing.
The idea of this place is it could have been a place of immense significance that would have yielded much evidence of the post-Roman age in North Wales, but unfortunately we'll never know.
We will never know that now.
Yeah.
I did a video last year, which nothing like this sort of scale, but it was a video about a cave called the Dog Hole, and it's in some woods in the Arnside and Silverdale sort of area, sort of near off Morecambe Bay.
Yeah.
And the video really was about this fascinating discoveries over the years of what appears to be ritual deposition of human bodies. There's a horse in there, lots of puppies, lots of piglets.
Yeah.
And sort of starting in the Iron Age, going through the Roman period, and changing to sort of Romanized form during the Roman period. So in this little area for hundreds of years, there was this. We don't know what, obviously don't know what the story of it was, but there was this practice of throwing dead people into this cave.
Yeah.
And one of the fascinating things about it is that it shows that clearly people were living near there. Now, a bit like this, you go up the hill a short way from where the cave is, and you've got that half of that hillside has been taken away. I think since the 40s or 50s, something like that. So I strongly suspect that the settlement where these people lived has been obliterated by the quarry.
It's gone. Yeah.
Gone forever.
Unfortunately, as our technology improves, we get better at destroying these sites.
We do.
Yeah.
Total destruction.
Total destruction. In the past, it would be partial. Now it's total.
It's the same sort of thing. It's the same sort of thing with houses. If you go back to the 60s, they just covered up the nice old fireplace with some ply board, didn't they? And then you could recover it later on when they.
That's right.
Yeah. But nowadays, people don't want that sort of stuff. It's everything is removed.
Rip it out. Yeah. Absolutely.
Rip it out. Gone.
Absolutely.
That is astonishing, isn't it?
But yeah, there we go. Dinorban, another one, another depression.
Depression. Your folder of
depression.
Your folder of depression.
So that's that. I haven't got anything else more to say about that.
Lovely. So shall we go on to Wardlaw?
Oh yes, please. Yes.
Okay, I've got a little bit of video on that one.
This is another one that I have not visited, but I
know you've not been here, right?
I know a lot about it, and I was going to go. I picked another place called Liddell Strength instead, which is in the relative neck of that woods. And Liddell Strength is very interesting, but Wardlaw was the other one.
It's
not proven to be post-Roman, but it's probably post-Roman.
I was just about to say that this is probably my weakest entry, and probably the only thing we can actually say for sure about it is that it is Iron Age, or it is pre-Roman, because if you look, you can actually see it on that bit of LiDAR. You can clearly see the hill fort. I don't know if you could see to the top of that, plonked next to it, is the rectangular outline of a Roman marching camp.
Wow.
So the fact that the Roman marching camp isn't, so the fort is on the top of the hill. So the Roman marching camp isn't quite on the top of the hill, which it would be if there hadn't already been a fort there. So it suggests that the marching camp is where it is because the fort was already there when the Romans arrived, and this was about them sort of controlling it. In fact, if you could sort of forward through the video, there's a bit in there where we get a sort of more black and white type of bit of LiDAR. No, not that one. Ah, there we go.
No, I've lost it again.
Did I see again?
Is that
there,
one?
there it is. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. So,
Oh,
so
right. Yeah, that's
that
clearly a
shows the
camp, isn't it?
marching camp really, really clearly. So that marching camp is very much not on the top of the hill. So I think we have to assume that the Romans put that there because there was already a camp. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you can make it out. It's very, very faint, but it is there. If you look at the sort of bottom right-hand corner of the marching camp, can you see in the LiDAR that there's a line extending out from that? And then it comes round. So
There.
yeah, up a bit. Can you see that white blob?
There.
Where's your cursor? I can't see your cursor.
Actually, my cursor's not very visible. It's here.
It's not moving, isn't it? Oh no, that's mine. I think that's my cursor. Right. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So if you bring your cursor down to the bottom right-hand corner.
There.
Sorry. Right. No, the other one. Right. What?
Oh. There.
Yeah, that one. There. Yeah.
There we go. There we go.
That's my right hand as I'm looking at it.
There we go. We got there.
So can you trace that? Can you just, if you trace a line along to that white blob?
Oh yeah, there.
Yeah. And then if you go on from there into the next field, it carries on in the same direction. And then can you see it turns down?
Ooh. Yes.
So it looks as though the Romans have done something to sort of enclose the hill fort there at
Oh yeah.
at some stage. If that is contemporary. I think
How
it is because
interesting.
bizarrely, and this is so typical, back in the day, the old school day of archaeologists, guess what they did up here? They excavated the Roman marching camp, but they didn't bother with that circular thing.
Oh, of course.
They didn't bother with that. So I think it's sort of late first century or into second century. I think the Roman sort of activity happened there.
Yeah.
So that does seem to tell us that the native hill fort was already there at that sort of stage. And as you say, there is no hard evidence that this continued in the Dark Ages. Obviously, there wasn't a Roman period in Scotland. They just had a much longer Iron Age, didn't they?
Yeah.
But there is down the bottom of the valley, there is a castle called Caer Laverock, and there was two iterations of that. I think the earliest is 13th century. So we've got that Caer word, that sort of Brythonic word, sort of implying a fort.
Yep.
And there's one reference to the hill fort in about 950. So, does the Caer of Caer Laverock actually come from when it was on the hill? And that name has migrated down the hill. It's, it's subjective, really.
Well, it's a better defensive position, isn't it?
Yeah, and perhaps it moved down because other priorities kicked in. But the castle is in those woods. So this shot here, we're on the hill fort. You can see the Solway Firth, and then we're looking down into these woods that you could see in the sort of middle to the right. The castle is in there. So they built the castle in the bog, basically. The first iteration of it actually sunk, and they moved it slightly and rebuilt
built the new
it.
one on top of the old one.
So is there a link? We don't know for sure. But
is that the Lake District over in the distance?
Yes, you can see. That would be.
So all the way over there, there's the neighbours in Raven Crag.
Yes, they are over there in Raven Crag. Yeah. The high ground at the forefront is probably Saddleback, Blencathra. I think we're looking at there. I mean, it's a beautiful site, absolutely beautiful. And if you let it play, there's some wonderful. Because I was filming in the winter and I ended up there in the dark, but it was watching the sunset up there was
atmospheric.
Being up there at the sunset was something else. You can
that's impressive in itself. You see the scale of the trees next to it.
Yeah, it's quite significant, isn't it? But again, in that Dark Age sort of style, it isn't big. It's not huge.
No.
A lot of effort has gone into it, but you can't imagine that there's more than a handful of people, really, a couple of
When we're in
huts
this
or
period, when we're in this period, the post-Roman age, you've got to think that you've got to change your perspective. So this is massive for that age. It's a
yes.
time when a group of 100 men could cause a lot of damage. A group of 100 is an army. Most armies would only be a handful of blokes. So something like this is pretty impregnable, really, at that time. For most people, anyway. You might get unlucky and come across Ethelfrith, King of Northumbria. Then you're screwed.
Then you're done.
But
then you're
but
done for.
most people would only have a small war band.
Wouldn't it be interesting again, to if we excavate this and get that story of how long did the Roman bit continue here, and then what happened next?
Yeah.
That's
the bit, isn't it? That's
the
the
question
key bit.
that's screaming out, isn't it? Is when the Romans gave up on this, what happened? Did anything happen?
This is, hang on, this is south of the Antonine Wall. Where's this? How far is this from Hadrian's Wall?
Well, I guess you are looking across the coast. Obviously the Solway Firth is wide at this point, but you'd be looking across almost roughly to where Hadrian's Wall is ending, over on that sort of side.
So you're north, but you are in the territory that was sort of technically allied to Rome.
Yes.
Who's in this territory? I can't remember. Is it the Selgovae?
Yes, I think it would be them here, wouldn't it?
Yes. Potentially clients of Rome. Very, very interesting. Have you got any wild theories of what you think happened here?
I don't really, Peter. Just other than this is where we get into the sort of Spidey mumbo jumbo sort of thing.
It is, isn't it?
I just had a feeling that this has a Dark Age life, this place.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you go somewhere and it's, God, there's a word for this. I can't remember what the word is, but it's an actual archaeological thing where you sort of, it is a bit Spidey senses. It's about what a place feels like and what you can look at I've got a book about it, so I can't remember what the term is. Someone tell me what the term is, where it's you go and you visit somewhere and it's about what it feels like on the landscape.
Yes, there is a term for that. Is it? Are you getting comments? Are people commenting on this? Do you see comments?
There are some comments, yes. Mostly about Paul Whitewick, it looks like.
Is it?
The chairman of the Illuminati board. Yes, he is.
So if anyone's got any theories about this one, that would be good to hear. Because this did have a later life as well. So the castle is down the bottom, and this went on to be a beacon.
Yes.
And in fact, I think the Wardlaw name comes from that sort of later medieval use of a beacon. When I was in there, at the back of that shot, there is sort of like the highest sort of point, and there were some sort of interesting sort of collections of stones there. So I'd imagine that it was probably treeless then. I mean, look at that view. Look at that.
Yeah, I mean, these sites would have been devoid of trees because you don't want the trees to stop your defence. Easy way of defending yourself is just having a treeless landscape.
Absolutely, yeah. I think by the medieval beacon type, it would have been kept clear, wouldn't it? I think as well.
Yes.
This is relatively this sort of landscaping thing is relatively recent, isn't it?
Apparently, my volume is low. Can you hear me? Okay.
I can hear you fine.
Okay. Oh, well.
Is that in the comments? Is that someone in the comments saying that?
It is.
Right.
Phenomenology. Thank you, Adam Morgan Ibbotson.
Adam. Hello, Adam.
Phenomenology, yeah. I like phenomenology because it's sort of...
It allows you to get away with murder, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Anything that's airy-fairy, sign me up.
It's Dark Ages because I felt that it is.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like it is. There is something to it, though, because you can go somewhere and you can think, right, where would the people have lived? Where would they have gone? Where would they have exited the fort? Where would they have entered the fort? What did the fort look like on the landscape? What could you have seen from the fort? Could you have seen other forts? I like doing that sort of thing.
Yeah, and there is a sort of a line of them, isn't there, along that coast as well? I think that Trust is the hill that we mentioned. I mean, they're all along there, aren't they?
They're all along the coast. Yep. You got to think. I mean, if you have a signal fire or something going up, could you have been seen from another one?
But
Yeah.
no, there's no Arthurian stuff here. This one has no connection to King Arthur, to my
No
knowledge.
legends. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Mott of Mark, we should have said.
Oh, we should
The
have mentioned
name.
that because, of course,
The
that's
name is an
that.
Arthurian name, isn't it?
Yes, it's named after Mark, who was the king of Dumnonia, which sounds like it's something from Monty Python, doesn't it? But is real.
Real place,
Cornwall.
all the way down in Cornwall. Yeah, Cornwall and Devon. Yes.
And it was the story of Tristan and
Isolde.
Isolde, is it? Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And that ended up getting co-opted into Arthurian legend in the medieval period, I think, didn't it?
That's right. It also got co-opted into things like Romeo and Juliet, apparently, which was used it as a kind of a base.
Right.
This tragic love story, and
But
both lovers dying.
isn't that interesting that you've got that association here on the southwest corner of Scotland? This association with a king of Cornwall.
Definitely.
I mean, if there is anything in it, is that in some way remembering this sea trade thing?
I think there's some sort of link there because all these lands were linked by the sea. It's easy to go down the coast on a boat. It's much more difficult to go through the mountains.
Across the, yeah, absolutely,
walking, all you need to do is jump on a boat and you can get wherever you want in a couple of days, really, along this coastline.
I mean, the thing for this area that we're looking at here is that we've got all this incredible evidence of that sea traffic in the Neolithic.
Yeah, exactly.
So why would they not be doing it? Why would they not be doing it in the Roman and post-Roman period?
Yeah, why would it stop later on? Exactly. Particularly in an age where, it's not like everything's fallen apart, but there certainly seems like there's a bit more freedom. You could probably just, if you wanted to, you could be quite enterprising, and you could just go off. But who knows? I mean, this is again me just making it up. Let's go somewhere else. Where should we go?
Yeah, that's it. That's Wardlaw.
Where shall we go now? Let's have a look. What have I got in my bag of hill forts?
So is this next one a hill fort that's now got a housing estate on top of it, Pete?
Do you know what? Let's go with. Let's go with Cadbury Congresbury, although I've got very sort of bad images of it. There's no drone flying at Cadbury Congresbury because it's right by Bristol Airport. So this is just in the suburbs of Bristol. And this would be in the kingdom of Mark. If there's any truth to the tale of him
so this is
the king of
Dumnonia.
Dumnonia. This is in just about anyway. This is just on the edges of it. Because it's actually in Somerset, I've just thought, which isn't quite in his kingdom. This is Cadbury Congresbury. It's one of 3 or 4 forts called Cadbury Fort or Cadbury Castle. There's obviously somebody called Caddo or Cadder in the 5th or 6th centuries where this name comes from, or maybe the 7th or 8th centuries, who gives his name to all these forts for some reason. Some people think he may have been an Anglo-Saxon. Other people think he may have been some sort of British chieftain. I think that's maybe a bit wishful thinking, but there's some weird thing about the name. It's everywhere. But this is one of them. The most famous Cadbury Castle is the one that Leslie Alcott dug in the 1960s, and he found possibly some of the most impressive evidence of anywhere in this age. He found these massive ramparts encircling the entirety of the old Iron Age fort, with gateways that were made in a sort of sub-Roman style, and then a great hall on top. But this one at Cadbury Congresbury it's kind of forgotten about, I think, because it's got the same name as the other place. So people sort of join them together. But this one's just as interesting. It was dug in the 60s and 70s. It's also got a great hall type building on top, which is similar to the building at Dinas Powys, which we'll talk about shortly, I think, when we do your one. This is on the other side of the Bristol Channel from Dinas Powys.
Oh, yeah.
So this is just outside of Bristol. I haven't got a map, but for anyone who's unfamiliar, it's kind of just south of Wales, pretty much. So the Severn
So
Estuary.
are we in this? Are we in the? I think we are in this sort of area, aren't we? Where, in terms of, if you study place names, there is the suggestion of Romano-British continuity.
There is,
They
there
they
is. I
they
mean, it's
they they they,
debated
ha-
for
they
sure.
held out. They held out for quite a time against the Anglo-Saxons.
They did. It's
Yeah,
debated for sure, but it seems like it seems like Wessex got here in kind of the 7th century, so later, much
later. Yeah.
later than many other places. So that's, you can actually see Wales. That's Wales off in the
Oh yeah.
distance on the other side of the Severn Estuary, which is this great waterway, and it was quite a important place during the post-Roman age. It's a very important place in myth. There's all sorts of stories from this time of largely of saints' lives. So you have lots of saints' lives about mostly churchmen, but sometimes about kings, and often they're like related to King Arthur in some way, which is probably added into the Arthurian thing later on. Um, what was I going to say?
Well,
Where are we
we're
going with
right
that?
in Arthur's second
We're
homeland here,
right
aren't we?
in
Down here,
Arthur's land. This is
obviously he comes from the northwest, but
exactly.
he, this is his holiday home here down
Arthur
here,
is
isn't it?
he's whoever you want him to be. He's whoever you want him to be.
Yes.
But these
Oh, nice
ramparts,
ramparts.
yeah, good ramparts. It
And
is an Iron Age fort, but it was definitely reoccupied. We know that because it's been dug pretty extensively in the 60s.
was you there, Pete, investigating the murder?
I was there.
Is it murder tape? Is that there?
It does
Crime
look like
scene?
it, doesn't it? It does look like it. There's a lot of cow grazing going on. I don't know if it was something to do with stopping cows. I don't know. Yeah, I haven't got many great images of it. What else can I say about this? Yeah, continental pottery again. You know, your classic pots that are coming in from the Bordeaux region of France, as well as all the way across the Mediterranean to the Eastern Roman Empire. So there's pots coming from Alexandria in Egypt and Constantinople, and they're coming.
Did
all the
this
way
one
here
go
for some
out
reason.
of use during the Roman period?
Good question. I don't know the answer to
But
that.
it was in use after. We're sure of that.
Definitely after. I believe it was out of use in the Roman period because Cadbury Castle also was. So there's like there's an era where it's not being used and it's reoccupied again by somebody. Whether it was one person ruling all these forts or they're all completely independent, we don't know. Probably independent.
We are quite a way south of Wansdyke here, aren't we?
Yes,
Yeah.
we're south of Wansdyke. We're in Wessex proper. I think, does Wansdyke, is that the edge of Wessex? Is that the border of the old border of Wessex?
Well, Wessex did go past it, sort of ultimately, didn't it? But I know that the what do they call it? The western end, because there's sort of two sides of Wansdyke, isn't there? West and east. And I know that the western end of it does run to the Severn.
Do you know what? We are south of Wansdyke, but it's close.
Is it?
It's certainly close.
Because that is one of the theories, isn't it? Is that Wansdyke relates to these Romano-British holding out against the Anglo-Saxons.
I'd be surprised if they weren't linked, to be honest. Because I mean, this seems to me. I'll show on a map where we are. This is Congresbury, so this is where we are. The fort. Where's the fort? I'm doing my Russell Brand impression now.
That's yeah. What I have to do now is while you're embarrassingly doing that is I have to time a Piers Morgan style look directly at the camera.
Yeah, please do. Please do.
There we go. Maximise your humiliation.
Yeah, exactly. Here we go. I knew it was near the garden centre.
Right, yeah.
So Cadbury Hill is here. So we zoom out a little bit. Wansdyke, by the looks of it, it goes past Bristol, basically. So Wansdyke's somewhere here. So this is the old border. So you've got Wessex this way.
Yeah.
We've got Dumnonia, or whatever you want to call it, the Britons this way. So this is one
Yeah,
of
that's
their
definitely
forts.
that's slap bang in there. I wish I could remember where Wansdyke hits the 7. I think it's, yeah. I don't think you're far away from it there, to be honest.
And
You
this
haven't
is the
got.
famous Cadbury
Oh
Castle
yes,
here.
that's the famous
So
one,
that's the
isn't it?
famous one. So they're a fair distance away from each other, really, but
Yeah,
they
yeah.
are. It's the
So
same
I think
part of the world.
your Cadbury Hill one is more likely to relate to Wansdyke, isn't it? I think,
Does seem to. It does
than
seem
the
to.
other.
But the other interesting thing as well is that the archaeologists suggested there was probably a connection across the Severn Estuary. So Dinas Powys is here,
Yeah.
the site of another quite interesting fort, excavated by
Oh
Leslie
wow, look at
Alcock in
that.
the 1950s.
Yeah.
They're close to each other, aren't they? And as we were just saying, it's easy to go over the water. It's much more difficult to go over mountains and things like that. You get over there in a day, easy peasy. You could potentially see each other.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, I picked Dinas Powys as a bit of a wild card, really, because I want, I've never been there. It's not one I've seen. I think it has a couple of interesting things sort of going for it. I am sort of segueing into mine a little bit. Is that
No,
okay?
that's absolutely fine.
Is that right?
I'm
Yeah.
just thinking if I think that's pretty much what I had to say. The only other thing I was going to say is that, interestingly, there are quite a few of these places where there's a lot going on, but barely anyone's even heard of it. There's another one called High Peak, which is down here just south of Exeter. And they really are just lost fortresses because no one's even heard of them. There's another one called Carnsrue, all the way down here in Hale, all the way down here. And yeah, there's no, like, just no one knows about them.
And this is why I think that it's still okay to talk Dark Ages, isn't it? For
I
those
mean,
first
it's a pretty dark age,
for those
like,
first couple
for
of
common
100
knowledge.
years, we shouldn't be so touchy and think, oh, we know more. The reality is it's still in the shadow, isn't it?
For sure. I mean, it's still in the shadows because you go to these places and often there's not even an information board. There's not even. Sometimes they're not even on flipping Google Maps. Very rarely. Yeah, they are. They are dark.
It's very interesting to see how close that is to Dinas Powys, the other side there. Interesting
It's very
stuff.
close. That's what I was going to say. There's also Brent Knoll. There's a very interesting hill fort there, which is post-Roman. And we go a little bit further down. There's Cannington Camp. Where's Bridgewater? Somewhere around here. There it is, Cannington.
Oh, yeah.
Cannington Camp is another one. So they're sort of lining the Severn Estuary.
It looks like it, doesn't it?
And they look out to here. All of them, or most of them, have this continental pottery. So they have these links, at least with the other hill forts, if not all the way down into the Bordeaux region, if not beyond into the Mediterranean. So there's a lot going on.
So, do we think that in the Dark Age period, if we look at your Cadbury Hill example, are are they friendly with the people at Dinas Powys on the other side, or
This
in
is
competition with them?
this is the thing. Who's to say the people at Cadbury Hill, Cadbury Congresby, weren't allied with Dinas Powys against the people at Cadbury Castle?
Yeah,
We just don't know.
we don't know
We just
that, do
don't
we?
know. We've certainly got this idea of Wales and England being separate, but who knows? They may have been more linked than we know back then, because they're all British at that point.
Yes, that's it, isn't it? Yeah, because so Dinas Powys is an Iron Age hill fort.
It
I think
is.
second, third century, second century BC, I think.
It is.
But it went totally out of use during the Roman period. But seductively comes back into use in the 5th and the 6th centuries. And
It's very seductive, isn't it?
it really is because it has it had two stone built buildings on it.
Here we go.
There it is. So again, it a little bit like perhaps the Motte of Mark.
The Motti of Mark.
There's this indication that you've got some sort of prince or king, one of your kings here, with a sort of a hall type building, and then again we've got metalworking here. In fact, I think when it was, I think there's a picture of it being excavated, isn't there? I think did I send you a picture of it?
I
Some
believe
digging
so.
it.
Oh yes, here we go.
There they are. Lousy picture.
Look at this.
Look at the
Phenomenal
pixelation of
picture.
that. Look at the pixelation on that. So, yeah, they found evidence. It really does remind me of the Mott of Mark, blacksmith and jewellery here,
There's always that metalwork, isn't there?
and the foreign imports as well. Interestingly, in a report that I read on this, I think it was linked to this, ancient old excavation. The conclusion was that the blacksmith and the jeweler would have been migrants from Ireland.
Oh, I like that.
There doesn't appear to be any evidence for that, but that was the idea. But I think it touches on this thing again. Look at the relationship to the sea.
There's the idea of itinerant migrant blacksmiths, isn't there? Where they may have been competing, or the elites may have been competing to get the best blacksmith.
To get the best blacksmith
is one idea that I read. Yeah, so you could be a fickle blacksmith, and you could go.
Now, what is that? I am familiar with that.
Castles.
What is that based on, Pete? Is there any actual evidence, or is this just some?
There's not a huge amount of evidence. I believe there's. Who's that? There's a Germanic myth. What's the guy? Wayland. In Germanic myth, is this smith, this
Wayland
blacksmith.
Smithy, of course.
Yeah, he is. He's essentially taken prisoner by a king, and he's forced to work as a blacksmith. And he used to have a different master before, and he wants to have a different master again. And I think that is kind of partly where it comes from. I'm sure there's other reasons why they think this, but that's the one that I've heard. The myth of Wayland.
It is. So it's very mythical, isn't it? But
a lot of it is.
It's not nice though, isn't it? It's nice.
A lot of it is. It's nice to have a tiny bit of myth, because sometimes we have no myth at all.
Oh yes,
there's a very large bank here, isn't there? There's a very, very large.
There is. Sorry, I just I went a bit Russell Brand there for a minute, but I have found it. The other thing with this is there's this 5-year-old child was found buried in the hill fort, and it Christian burial, but with the way the child was laid out, had that sort of native type styling to it as well. So here we've got the Romans have gone. Somebody has felt the need to reinforce, because there were new ramparts put up in the post-Roman period. Put the stone buildings here, and then a child's been buried at some stage. It looks to be Christian, but there is some form of native British in the way that body is laid out. I thought that was really fascinating.
So interesting. I'm sure there's some other Christian bits and bobs here. I can't remember exactly what they are, but I'm sure there's some other reason to think that they were Christians here. And there's a cemetery nearby, isn't there, as well?
Yes, I read about that, yeah. And again, a bit like Wardlaw, the castle developed a bit further down, didn't it? There is a later castle, sort of just a little bit further down the valley.
And that's useful for us because they didn't build it directly on top of the old remains. As there are many castles all across the country that are actually, it's thought likely they're built on top of a post-Roman fort. Yes, and therefore we don't have anything left. But this one, very nicely for us, they built it a little bit further. It's
a very similar. If you look at the distances on that, that is very similar to Wardlaw, with the hill foot on the hill, the castle down the bottom, but in close proximity.
Do you know what's funny about this one? Part of me thinks that it would be much more famous if it wasn't in a very wooded area, because you can't really get a good glimpse of this place.
No,
because I've been there and it's hard.
Oh, have you visited this one?
I've visited, yeah, and it's a lovely place, but it's hard to picture what it is. And I think a lot of the people, it's a very popular dog walking destination because it's right in the outskirts of Cardiff.
It looks quite built up. When I did look at the old maps, it looks like it's one of those areas that has expanded exponentially in the last half a century or whatever.
But I don't think a lot of people visiting really know what it is. I don't remember there being a sign saying what it was.
And again, if you look at the older map, the older Ordnance Survey maps, I don't think the woodland was as extensive as it is
No, it may have been
now.
grown
So,
up
you know,
more recently.
but you can't really see it, can you, on Google Earth? You know, when you look at the Google Earth image, you just
You can barely
relying
see
on the
it.
fact that it says it's there.
You can barely see it with a drone. It's
You,
really that. It's that wooded.
we're close to the river, aren't we? Again, and close to the bay. You know, the estuary.
Very close. It's only a couple of kilometers. But I can't even speak. It's a couple of kilometres away from the Severn Estuary. There's a
I
little
can't
river
get
here.
used to this newfangled metric stuff either. It's taking a
Yes.
while to settle in.
So yeah, easy access to the sea, easy access for anyone coming in from afar. Um,
What do you
and
reckon then? Another little king, another one of your kings,
I think
another
it's a little
small
king.
king.
I think it's a little king here. I think this is one of the first kings of the area, possibly. There are other hill forts in this area as well, which are a little bit similar. Most of them are unexcavated, but I was reading some speculation about some other ones that are similar in size to Dinas Powys. So, yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, a lot of this is really just looking at something on a map and thinking that looks similar. And until you
Yeah,
actually dig it,
that's it. You don't know.
it's really hard to know, isn't it?
So that's Dennis Powers. Have you got another one for us? I've lost track, really. I think I've got one more left. You must have another one, I think. Another two.
I've got two left. You've got one left. So, speaking of legends, we will do this one. There's not a huge amount of evidence here. However, I wanted to speak about really what's going on in Wales, which is there's a lot of Irish people coming over. These are the inscription stones of Wales, and as you can see, I think the ones in red are the ones with Ogham, which is this Irish script.
Yep.
So in the 4th, 5th, 6th centuries, these Irish stones pop up absolutely everywhere. And if you're not Irish in this area, you wouldn't be very happy about somebody sticking one of these stones up. So it leads us to think that there's probably quite a lot of Irish settlement in Wales at that time. And what I like is that there are some stories as well that survive. So let me just look at my notes. There's a 9th century story, or 9th century book called Cormac's Glossary. And there's a guy called Cormac. He was a scholar in the 9th century, and he wrote about all sorts of things going on in his age, in his monastery. And one of the stories he talks about is Crimthan, who was the High King of all Ireland, he says, in the 5th century AD. And he ruled lands not just in Ireland, but across the Irish Sea, all the way to the Ictian Sea, which is another word for the English Channel.
Ah.
So in legend, there was this Irish king who crossed over the sea into Britain at around about the same time as the Roman Empire is collapsing. It all sort of adds up quite nicely, but, this is a myth. However, a number of archaeologists have looked for the fortresses that this king supposedly ruled at. One is called Dun Tredwy. Another one is called, what's the other one? Dun Mac Lithane. Dun Mac Lithane may well be Trencrom in Cornwall. This is purely... So there's an archaeologist called Charles Thomas, who I quite like his work. He was a 20th century, very prominent guy, dug all over the place, very influential. But at the same time, I mean, he's really deciding where he thinks these places are purely based on the geography, because these are two unexcavated hill forts. One is Trencrom in Cornwall, the other is Voldrigarn. An incredible place, absolutely incredible place in West Wales.
Oh, that looks good.
Absolutely beautiful, and it's got these Bronze Age cairns on top. I'll show a better image in a minute. And then these ramparts around the outside. Unfortunately, it's only been dug in the 1800s. So it was dug in the 1890s. They did find evidence all through the Roman period. So somebody was living here all through the Roman period.
Right.
There's not much evidence for after that, unfortunately. But Charles Thomas, anyway, reckoned that... Where is it on the map? It's about here on the map. It's in the Preseli Hills, which are famous for being the hills where the bluestones from Stonehenge come from.
Oh, of course.
And it's
Yeah.
a very wild landscape, but this is what it looks like. So it's kind of a smallish place. It would be easy to fortify for a small warrior band, which, you know, this Irish guy may well have been. He may well have been. There may well be a hint of a real story there of an Irish marauder crossing over the sea to potentially be a mercenary in service for somebody. Maybe he then went his own way and carved out his own kingdom. This is the part of Wales where all of the dynasties have Irish people at the very back end. So all the kings of this region traced their descent from Irishmen, which is, you know, interesting in itself.
I am a little bit distracted by those Bronze Age cairns as well.
Lovely Bronze Age cairns.
They're massive, aren't they?
Massive, yeah. And if you're an Irish pagan, because they were definitely pagan at this time, this is the time of Niall of the Nine Hostages, who's this progenitor of all the royal houses of Ireland, who again was said to have crossed over the sea and raided in Britain. And he held hostages of all of his enemies, so they would keep in line. These are pagans. They're crossing over the sea. If you see these big Bronze Age cairns, you'd probably quite like that. You'd probably think,
Yeah, he's going to venerate those, isn't he?
yeah, you'd probably think this is our place. We'll have this, and also it's a sign of control, I think, of the area, because if you're able to control this, you know, place where people have religiously venerated for a long time.
Was
you'd be
this
quite happy.
was this stone ramparts or sort of timber and turf ramparts? Do we know?
A bit of both.
Bit of both. Yeah.
A bit of both, but largely Iron Age. However, it's not been dug since the 1890s. So
Since then,
you know,
yeah.
I'd love for this place to be dug again, because who knows? Maybe.
And
maybe
did you
there's
say
some
in the
post-Roman
18
evidence there?
Did you say in the 1800s they concluded that it was being used in the Roman period?
Yes, there's plenty of Roman.
Oh
evidence, yeah.
dear, I don't know how much we can rely on that then, because everything, you know, in the 1800s everything was Roman, wasn't it?
Well, it was, but the interesting thing is, because some of these sites where there was Roman things going on, it was later shown to be actually post-Roman things.
Yes,
So where there is Roman, there is potential for post-Roman.
post-Roman. It's a very prominent. It's a great.
It's a very prominent place.
Like
And
a
again,
sort of textbook hill fort, isn't it?
it is
And
much
it's
like
not.
Trencron.
It's not big, is it? It's, you know, like
it's
the
not-
other
it
Dark
looks
Age
big.
citadels. It's not. You know, it's not huge. It's one of the
It
bigger
looks
ones
massive.
that we've looked at.
Yeah, it looks massive because it's on the top of a big mountain, but the actual fortress isn't that big, so it wouldn't be that difficult to hold. And Charles Thomas decided this was the fort of Crimthan, mostly because of just how prominent it is on the landscape and how, you know, impressive.
And
it
is that
and
is that you know, is there anything in writing from the time about this tale, or is this all just later?
it's all from the 9th century,
Right.
and it's from the 9th century. But I think Crimthan exists in other texts which are earlier. But it's a 9th century guy describing the 5th century, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, we have 5th century texts. Not many of them.
Not
The main bit of evidence for the Irish coming across during Roman Britain is Ammianus Marcellinus, who we've already spoken about, who's the great barbarian conspiracy guy. So this
Yeah.
is sort of the Irish side of the great barbarian conspiracy.
Fascinating stuff. And another one screaming out to have some attention.
It's got to be dug. It's got to be dug. I mean, this is, you know, lost citadels, isn't it? So I'm trying to pick weird ones. I'm trying to pick trying to pick ones people haven't heard of. Here we go. This is a nice view of it, actually. So the sea is just over there.
Yeah, I thought you could see
Selly
that in the
Hills are
distance.
there.
It's great. It's a great location, isn't it?
It is. It is. And it's another very interesting area for this time period because there's not a huge amount of urban settlements going on there. So some of this stuff survives.
Yeah, they'd need some water butts up there, wouldn't they, if they were spending any amount of time living there?
This is always the idea, isn't it? It's like how was the water getting up there?
I think it must be water butts in locations like that, mustn't it?
It must be. But
They
I
must be
also
they
think
must be captured. There's no other.
if you're the High King of all Ireland, or calling yourself the High King of all Ireland, or at least you're just a guy who your reputation as a warrior was so good that you later became called High King of Ireland, you can probably capture some locals to do some things for you. Is the sad, harsh reality?
That's the sad reality. I guess they could have been. They could have been like people lugging it up there in buckets. But I tend to think the easiest thing would have been just to build some water butts, wouldn't it? Which they were capable
to catch rainwater.
Catch rainwater, yeah.
Yeah.
If not for all of it, certainly to supplement the water supply.
Yeah, yeah, could well be. So that's another fort where there's basically no evidence that I've chosen.
Yeah.
But that's what I like to do. So
yeah.
Where else is it? I was going to. Oh no, this is it. This is my last thing actually. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Yeah, because this area down here is Munster in Ireland, and that is where it's thought that Ogham probably originated from. And there's absolutely tons of inscriptions there. And then in the legends, it's from this area that the Irishmen had a mass migration, the invasion of the Déisi, it's called, and it's a very interesting story. And they had a mass migration into South Wales and took over the place. And so the idea is that, this Crimthan story may be linked to this. And yeah, that's all I've got to say about that.
I'm intrigued by that outlier that's sort of somewhere along the line of the M4. Have you seen that there? So if you go towards London, look, there's a red block.
Yeah, absolutely.
How fascinating.
And, do you know, this hasn't got all of them as well? Because I know of one at Viraconium in the Midlands. There's a guy called Cunamoros, I think. Might translate as Hound King, Son of the Holly, which is a great name. And he was probably a mercenary of some sort, because he was allowed to have his Ogham stone in this post-Roman place.
Yeah, I mean, Viraconium is one of those fascinating places with, intriguing sort of signs of stuff, of much carrying on. After the Romans have gone, you've got those incredible sort of timber-built structures, haven't you?
That's
in the ruins of the in the ruins of the Roman Basilica.
Exactly. And then there's just little tiny bits of written evidence on the landscape in a few places, little inscriptions here and there. A little Roman name might survive here and there, which is always interesting. It's weird because in North Wales you get people who are calling themselves like Constantine and things in the 6th century.
I know. It's fascinating, isn't it?
Your life
really
wasn't very Roman, but you sort of still think that you're Roman. Super interesting.
Well, I did a video quite some time ago now, sort of, which would be to the west of Viraconium. And there's sort of 3 iterations there. At this tiny little beck, there's 3 iterations of the Roman road of Roman bridges, basically covering, leaping across this little beck. And the really fascinating one is what I presume is the 3rd iteration, which is definitely built out of Roman stone, probably from the huge 2nd iteration, but it's really ramshackle and tiny. And it just speaks of, to me, again, it's that sensey thing going on. But I think, looking at the construction as well, it speaks of them trying to keep that road open.
Yeah.
In the 5th century or the 6th century, something like that. And they're sort of building a much less ambitious bridge than the one that has probably had a timber middle section that's collapsed.
It doesn't matter what it looks like. It just purely about function.
And that's a road that is running west from Viraconium into Wales. So absolutely. It suggests that they're still, we know they were still at Viraconium, and they're still trying to do something, to travel out that way.
How interesting.
Shall we have a look at Carlwark?
Oh yes, please.
So I chose this one as another one that I haven't been to. There's a slight sense of mumbo jumbo to it for me, and also I know that you know it because you did an excellent video on it.
Well, thank you. I mean, I don't know how excellent it was. It was enjoyable going there. That was the main thing.
Yeah, I mean,
And I felt
you
like I had to
screwed your
make a video.
microphone up, I think, if I
Yeah,
remember.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it. So I have visited this, but a long time ago, and not with my antiquarian hat on, so to speak. In that, when I was hiking and exploring the Peak District, probably I don't know 15 years ago, I probably did more than one walk actually where I went through this, and again, I just had this sense. I'd never done any research on it, never read anything about it. I just I only knew about it because it had the oldie lettering on the map. But my sense that I came away with, the abiding sense that I came away with from this place, was that this was probably from the Dark Ages. And there was something about the wall, I think, in particular, the stones, the remnants of the stone walling, that spoke to me of the Dark Ages. So it was interesting in preparing for this.
I'll just have to zoom in on it because I mean it's interesting because it's all very natural, and then
yes,
suddenly you're like, oh wow, what's this? And it's just a giant wall that's been
it's
constructed across the
it's
neck
phenomenal.
of this,
It's
you
a
know, large
phenomenal
rock.
thing, and it just felt, you know, that was my conclusion. Now I've subsequently obviously read up about it, and I understand that every theory under the sun exists for this one, doesn't it? Neolithic has been proposed.
Yeah.
Iron Age, Druids. I think one of the antiquarians put
Oh yeah.
Druids on it.
Vikings.
Vikings. But I believe that it was in the 1950s. I think one of the Pigotts, I think Cecily Pigott, actually did do a small excavation. And I think there might be a diagram, a drawing that I sent you through from that sort of. I think that might be from that period.
Yeah, got
And
it.
because it's variously called Carlwark and sometimes Carlswark. Again, we've probably got care in there. Brythonic care probably
Yes.
is where that's coming from.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Cecily Pigott in the 1950s, she concluded, based on similarity to the sort of Dark Age forts that we've been talking about in Scotland, that she put it in the Dark Age, and the post, certainly the post Roman, and from what I've read, I think that since then, lots of different views, but there are a body of people that think that it looks like it is from the post Roman period. So again, we don't know. It has had an excavation, albeit tiny, and a long time
Very
ago.
small, very small.
And a long time ago as well.
The thing is, things change so much in archaeology that evidence that was once seen as, say, Roman might now be seen as post-Roman. It's this interesting thing because I mean, Tintagel originally was interpreted as nothing like it is now. It was first seen as being just a small monastery.
Yes, yeah.
And it's only sort of with subsequent work that it gets reinterpreted. So I think this needs to be redug.
Now you've
Again.
been here, so you've
been
obviously
here.
been here, and you did have your antiquarian hat on or your historian hat on. What did you think? What's your sort of sense of it?
I would love to say Dark Age post-Roman, but I don't know. I wasn't necessarily feeling that.
Did the wall not strike you as not looking old enough to be from like 400 BC or something like that?
I don't know.
It's deeply unscientific, but
Yeah, it's
you do
interesting,
get a
isn't it?
sense. You do get a sense, don't you? Sometimes
you
of
get a sense,
of
for
how
sure.
weathered things are, how old something actually looks.
Walking through the stones on this promontory, this promontory here, I kept thinking this feels more like a religious place. It doesn't really feel like a place
Oh wow!
that
So
would
you're
be
with old matey boy on the Druids, possibly
possibly. It felt more druidic to me than
a
anything else.
Druidic grove.
But I'm of the persuasion that a hill fort can be religious as well as defensive. So, I think Iron Age forts, I think a lot of it was to do with the ceremonial aspect of it
Yeah.
and the aspect of being this is a place of power on the landscape rather than just a purely defensive place. Obviously, they're warrior societies, so you need a bit of defense as well. But I felt like it might be Iron Age, but
Is it? Yeah.
who
But
knows? You need to go there. You need
we
to
ought
go there
to
and
we
have
ought
a
to
look.
concede as well that there are signs of that you get in the Peak District, that eastern side of the Peak District in particular. There are the sort of millstone things there, aren't there? The sort of signs of
Yes,
much later millstone grinding
yes.
going on there on the site.
You can
But
see it. I think here actually, there's
it's
massive
over there,
evidence
yeah.
of landscape engineering all over the place from the 1700s. So
But
it's
again,
definitely
you
not.
see,
It's not from the 1700s though. This wall.
no,
It's an old wall. It's a very
it's an
old wall.
old wall, and it's a small enclosed place, isn't it? With that classic thing
Here we go.
that we've been talking about of they're utilizing the natural defenses and then they're beefing it up where it needs it.
100%. Yeah.
That's my argument for it anyway.
It's a really interesting place because it's a bit of an outlier if it is post-Roman.
Yeah.
You know, it's well, very much an outlier. There's not much else in the area, or really much else in that whole side of the country, because everything's in the north and the west, and this is more. It's further east, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's not
this
quite
is
the east, but it's
this
towards the
This
east.
probably falls under the sort of jurisdiction of Sheffield, doesn't it nowadays?
Yes, it does.
I think,
It's in the outskirts of Sheffield. Yeah. So I mean, what we thinking? This is during that time period, it becomes Mercia, but it's arguably. Is it Elmet? Is it in that area? It's not quite that, is it?
I think it's probably a little bit too far south for Elmet.
Yeah,
but I think you have got, as I say, as we touched on earlier, there is this indication that there was a Romano-British sort of continuity,
yeah,
for a bit longer in the Peak District than some of the surrounding areas. So
yes.
if we've got the Mercians properly sort of taking over in the 7th century, is this related to the period directly before that?
Could be the peak.
I mean, look at those stones. Look at the stones. I mean, those
Yeah.
stones, they're just screaming out having been stacked like that in the 600s to me.
Could well be. Could well be.
Be good. They would probably be able to sort that one out now with one trench, wouldn't they?
I think so.
One trench would probably answer that now.
Strategically placed digging would answer this. Someone's got to go back there. I'd like for a lot of new digs to be done. A lot of reinterpretation keeps happening and sort of looking at old evidence. But I just want some new digs.
That's right. Yeah, you rewatch.
I want to hear about a large dig going on here. Someone just donate £1 million, please.
I mean, that, Pete, is a lot of that's probably the standard conclusion from virtually every film I make is that one or two strategically placed trenches would remove all of the decades of uncertainty and debate and very often fanciful sort of speculation. But it doesn't.
I agree.
Happen.
I completely
But it doesn't
agree.
happen, does it? That's the thing. Unless I've had a couple in the last year where we've actually tried to we have sort of tried to pursue getting things scheduled, and there's no appetite. There's no appetite for that at all. They just don't seem to be interested.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it?
I guess that's a resource thing, I suppose.
I think so.
So
And
it's all
people
driven.
They have their set sites that they work on.
And it's just all driven by the threat of development, isn't it? That's
Yes.
At the moment, and
Yes.
thankfully, something like this is never going to be threatened, is it?
No, not at all. Not at all. It's a weird place, though. All these massive stones. Where would the houses be? It's such a weird mystery.
That is the problem with it,
enigma.
isn't it? It's not.
Yeah.
That is problematic, I think, isn't it? Because there's no sign of anything having been, with Castle Crag, for instance, that we looked at earlier. It's definitely been levelled for. You could see even today. You can see where they've cut to make level areas for huts. There are still a few boulders in there, But it's not obvious at all where there would have been any structures. The naturally occurring boulders are just strewn all over the thing, aren't they?
It seems like a temporary place to me. It seems like maybe someone's come here and they've had a year to put up this defence, and then they've been here potentially to. I mean, I think someone thought that it was a temporary place during the age of Constantine the Great or something like that.
Oh yes, that's right.
That's what
yeah, that's right.
one of them
That's
thought it was. So
ra-
clearly someone
random.
thinks it was a temporary solution to a problem.
Yes, completely plucked out of the ether,
Yeah,
that one,
just
wasn't
made
it? No,
it
no
up, yeah.
evidence whatsoever. So,
But I mean, yeah, it seems like if somebody was living here, or permanently or temporarily, there should be some hut circles or something.
I hope it doesn't eventually turn out to just be a sheepfold.
Yeah,
That would be very disappointing, wouldn't it?
it would be. It very much would be.
That somewhere down the line has been, it's all started really with whoever decided to call it Carl's Walk.
You got to think, yeah, how many of these sites are just entirely based on the just meanderings of an antiquarian
That's right. That's right.
without much evidence really at all? Yeah.
It's a good one though, and I
a good one.
recommend that for a visit because you could see from the pictures it's quite a wild looking place, but it's actually quite easy to walk there, isn't it?
It's easy, yeah. You can there's a National Trust place to park as well,
Yeah,
about
not
a
too
mile
far
away.
away
So,
from it, is
yeah,
it? So,
a couple of miles away. Nice walk through the woods, and then you go out onto the plain here. Yes,
excellent. So there we go. So some interesting Dark Age citadels there.
there we go. Right, I've got one more. We'll very briefly go through this. You ever heard of this place, the Bryden? The Bryden? It's on the border between Wales and England.
Is this
It's
another
quite
one
a-
that's been cut in half by a quarry?
There is a quarry there. However, the important bit survives,
Right.
thankfully. So part of it has been.
Is it
Maybe
quite a
you've-
dramatic one of these? Has got a
It's
big
very
slice out
dramatic.
of the hill.
Yes, it's very dramatic.
I have
There's a
driven
thing
past
called
this.
God, what's it called? Is it Rodney's Pillar? I think it's called Rodney's
Oh
Pillar.
yes, yes,
Which is a
yeah.
big pillar on top of the thing, which is actually falling over. So if you want to live dangerously, go stand underneath Rodney's Pillar.
So this is
'cause it might
close
fall
to
at
the
any
English-Welsh border, isn't it?
Yeah, it's almost on the border. And it's a big, prominent, small range of hills. There's about 3 or 4 peaks, and it's flat land on either side. So on one side's England, the other side's Wales, and it's very prominent on the landscape. It looks like that. And it's a great place for going exploring. You can go up there and you can walk across the whole thing. It takes you about a day. That's what I did 2 years ago. I got lost, got wonderfully lost, wandering around up in the middle of nowhere. You see all sorts of deer and all sorts of nice animals that you bump into. But right in the middle of it is this thing. I should say there's an Iron Age hill fort on either side of it. So there's an Iron Age hill fort on the Bryden Hill over here, and then there's another one on the other side. But in the middle, this is post-Roman. So there's a post-Roman enclosure.
Are we looking at? Is that a ditch that I can see there?
That's a ditch. This is a little bit of the cut-out edge
Quarry,
that you
yeah.
might have seen. This is where that's Rodney's Pillar there.
Yes, yeah. I've definitely.
This is
This
is a
place. This
mine.
place. I can remember years ago driving past this, and being
It's
struck
very
by
prominent. Yeah.
being struck by these amazing prominent hills, and then my breath being taken away when I drove around round, and that awful quarry came into view.
Someone's
It
taken
is
a
like
bite
they are
out of it.
they are dismantling the hill, aren't they?
Pretty much. And this is one of the hill forts. The other hill fort is over there.
Okay.
And they're both Iron
So
Age.
this hill at the in the foreground here, this hill fort is being destroyed by the quarry, is it again?
Yes. I mean, the main bit of it survives, but they're chopping away at the edge of it.
Because it's still going, that quarry, isn't it?
Still going.
Yeah.
Still going. But the
how
important bit is here. You can
Ah.
see, so that's the important bit in the middle.
Oh
So
right.
it's
I
sort
thought
of so it's sort of no. This bit is not the post-Roman bit. The
Yeah,
post-Roman
I
bit
was assuming
is
that
in
the
the
hill
middle.
in the background was where that was, but it's on the
This
low
is
one in the middle.
this is not in the depression folder. This is actually quite a good place because it survives. Nobody's built on it. It's still there.
Oh, it's
There's
a long
plenty
way
of
from the quarry, isn't it?
plenty of potential for the future, and like the other ones we've spoken about, it's small. It's quite modest. It's a little place. There's plenty of evidence all through the Roman period and then after the Roman period. But it's interesting because it's adjacent to these two Iron Age hill forts. So you've got to think, surely these people wanted to be associated with their Iron Age ancestors. Is there a harking back to the time before the Romans came? Something like that going on.
Did you say this one is definitely post-Roman? There's nothing.
This is
not Iron Age.
This is post-Roman, yeah. So this has been dug a few times over the years. Nothing too extensive, but it was dug in the 1930s and I believe later on as well. And it's primarily an enclosure, so it's fortified.
Is there a rampart? Is it ditch and rampart, or just a ditch?
Very small ditch, pretty much. These people, I think, to be honest, for me anyway, having been there, it feels like you're in a different world when you're up here. So my thinking was, just by being up there, you're kind of in a defensible position. So because you can see for miles in all directions. And it's one of these enigmatic places. You go there and it gets the imagination going for sure.
It gets to you. It gets into your bones.
Gets to you. It got to me anyway when I went.
And do we know was there anything going on at either of the hill forts on the higher hills, contemporary with?
There's no evidence of it. There's no evidence of it, but again, they haven't, like most Iron Age hill forts, they haven't been dug properly because there's just so many of them. And where do you even start? Oh, here we go. This is what you've seen.
Yes,
that's what
it literally. If I remember correctly, I think I had to actually stop. I was in the middle of a really long journey. I literally had to stop and look at it. I couldn't believe it.
It's such a dramatic place. It really is. When you're driving past, and you got to think, it's just an obvious place for someone to live.
Yeah.
If you're a post-Roman warlord trying to hide out somewhere.
Look at the view over the plain.
Go up there
to the left of that. Over the flat land to the left. It's incredible,
for miles in all directions. You can see all the way across to the heartlands of England. You can see all the way across to the Cambrian Mountains on the other side. And yeah, it's another one where it's very romantic, just because you can go there and just think, what was this like back in the day?
About? Yeah, really.
What was happening here?
I think straight away. Just the first thing I want to know is there anything going on at the big old Iron Age hill forts at the same time?
Yeah.
Or not?
I would think surely there is. Whether there's any evidence of that, I don't know. But surely you'd go up there and you would utilise them, the old forts, and you'd utilise them in your defences. At least just having a watchtower up there or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't know what kingdom this is connected to. There's no stories about the place. There's none of that survives.
It's definitely not. It's not a Roman signal station, is it? Definitely not a Roman signal station.
No. Well, the enclosure isn't. The enclosure is, at the end of the Roman Empire for sure.
And they found signs of habitat. They found evidence that people were living there.
Yes. Yeah. It's called New Pieces Enclosure for anyone who's interested.
Is it?
So this is the Brython range of hills, and there's 3 forts on there. Well, 2 forts and 1 enclosure. Yeah, it's probably something to do with. Well, it could be something to do with the formation of Powys, the Welsh kingdom, possibly. Might have been one of the constituent parts when that started going. But really, it's one of these places where there's just archaeology. The story of it is gone. We've just got to use our imaginations, really.
It's very faint in that shot, but I can work it out. Yeah.
It's a super. Yeah, you wouldn't.
I suspect that disappeared. that is going to, in another month or two, that'll be disappeared under bracken and the like, I'd imagine.
Yeah, when I was there, I was thinking, how are they sort of keeping this clear? But I think it's just sheep.
No one's looking
Sheep.
after it, are they?
No,
Yeah.
no, no one's really looking after it. I mean, it's someone owns it. I think it is someone's land, I suppose, because there's lots of sheep there. But yeah, if you want to really experience kind of, I suppose, what the Dark Ages was a bit like, go here because there's no one
Yeah.
around, and you can just have a nice wander around and imagine that you're a post-Roman warlord.
Yeah, you're
holding
holed up
holding
there.
up here. Yeah.
You're not getting so many messages nowadays about what's going on elsewhere. Things
Yeah,
have gone a
exactly.
bit worryingly quiet.
Yes. But yeah, and I was up there and I was just thinking, would they, which side were they oriented towards? Was it Wales or was it England?
Yeah,
Or either of them? Were they just their own thing?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Really good one. I'd completely forgotten about that place, but I think mainly because of that quarry just took my breath away when I saw the destruction of a hill. I must go and have a look at that again. I'm gonna
You'll
put
have
that
to
on
go
my
check it out.
list. Yeah,
You'll have to
definitely.
go check it out.
Well, it's actually good value for money for a video because you've got three hill forts with
Three hill forts
a
there.
bit of novelty as well about the disappearing hill.
There's a good story. There's a good story there.
You could probably find some old pictures of that hill when there was a lot more of it left.
I think so. I think you could probably find a bunch more about the place.
Yeah, sort of watch it disappear.
Yeah.
Do you are they going to take the whole of that hill down? Do you know?
I don't know. I hope not. I hope they will
Awful.
stop. But
Yeah, awful.
that is the world that we live in, and there's a lot of profit to be made. And unfortunately, when there's profit to be made, people just find a way to carry on going, don't they?
That's right. Look at that. That is the destruction of a hill. That is, isn't it?
Very much still active. Very much still active.
Yeah, yeah. Look at that. Gosh. Oh,
Crikey.
that is going on my list. I need to go and visit that.
Yeah, get that on the
properly.
list. Wardlaw is definitely on my list now, as is Raven Crag.
Oh, you
Definitely
won't be
gonna do both of them.
disappointed, Pete. With either of those, you won't be disappointed. And I really hope, particularly with Wardlaw, I really hope you get the weather because if you can time it as well and sort of be there in the evening as the sun's going down, it's such a beautiful part of the country, and the sunset is just like something else,
Oh, magnificent.
and extremely evocative of that. If you sat there doing that thing of what was happening here. It's that time, that time of day. It was actually dark by the time I got down off of that. I think people don't always understand perhaps how long filming takes
Oh, God, it takes
when
so
you
long.
when you're filming stuff. I think people, I have people say, they say, well, why didn't you pop in and see? Pop in to. There's no
Yeah, yeah,
popping when I'm
exactly,
filming. I'm
exactly.
no popping into anything. But it took
You
so
have to
long.
choose. You've got to choose. You've got to prioritise which site as well. You can't
Yeah,
just do willy-nilly
absolutely. I
go
mean,
to three places.
you screw up the shots. You have to redo shots.
Yeah.
You need. I always deeply paranoid. I don't get enough B-roll, but you need plenty of B-roll, don't you, to cover?
Oh,
It's
God, you need so
important
much.
to have B-roll. So it takes and there's filming the bits of you talking. There's filming B-roll. There's flying drones around to get the drone shots. It takes a long time, doesn't it? And when I was at Wardlaw, because I'd filmed a bit down on the coast. I then went and filmed a bit at the castle, and then I walked up to Wardlaw and filmed there. That was January, I think, or February. It was
It looks
pitch black,
cold.
so I came back when I was walking down off of there, and the moon, it was dark and the moon was out. Got some shots of that at the end. Beautiful, amazing.
Excellent.
And a really odd thing happened while I was there. I'd filming the last bit just as the sun was setting at a little bench just off of the summit where it is, and this local mother came up with her young child. This kid was probably 3 or 4, something like that. They skipped on up there, and I heard them sort of like chasing each other around in the hill fort, and then they came back, and I spoke to her. She said, "Oh, we do it. We do this most nights."
Oh, nice.
So most evenings she takes her like daughter up to run round the hill fort and then go back.
I'd be doing the exact same thing if I lived
You
by
would,
that hill
wouldn't you?
fort.
If you lived,
Oh, wow.
if you lived beneath that. And
Absolutely.
yeah, if you get to Castle Crag, you won't be disappointed with
Incredible.
that. It's really special place.
I've actually just Googled new pieces enclosure because I was thinking, what is the evidence here? I couldn't remember. And it says glass fragments dated to the 6th or 7th centuries AD. So right smack bang in the middle of our period.
Oh yeah,
This place was post-Roman. So there we go.
There we are.
But also the good news is field work is going on now, apparently.
Ah,
Apparently it's being dug right now.
Oh,
so
wow.
finally some good news. Finally
is that
some
in,
good
is that
news.
in advance of the second phase of quarrying?
I hope not. I hope not.
They're going to take that. They're going to take that one out now.
Oh,
Well, let's-
God, I hope not.
Let's hope not. Let's hope
right.
not.
Right, flipping heck. I didn't realise what the time was. I've got to go now.
Ah,
I've gotta
right.
go- I've got to go and make dinner. And
You'll have to.
yes.
I didn't have to use my safe word, which was
Yeah, no,
my
you've
my
done
safe word was
remarkably well.
I want din dins.
yeah,
Was,
I've got to do my safe word. I've got a newborn son, so I've got to go and
right.
Got to
Well,
go and do dad
it's
duties.
been great. It's been great. Pete. I was. You'll have to.
This has been
If
excellent.
there's any way to let me know what the comments were, that would be great. It'd be interesting to see what people have been saying. I suppose they'll. Oh, this will go on to your YouTube channel now, won't it?
This will go straight onto the YouTube
Yeah.
channel. You can see the comments on there. Actually, I think.
Yeah, I think
just
you
seeing
can. I'm so unfamiliar.
any
I need to
questions.
take the plunge and do one of these live streams at some stage.
Oh, you should do it. It's good fun. Just seeing if there's any. I don't think there's many questions here. Yeah, it's been a lovely chat. I've enjoyed talking to you. We'll have to do this again, possibly in
Absolutely.
person.
Yes,
There's
absolutely.
a long rumoured meet up with Paul Whitewick, possibly. So we may
Yes,
we can meet up at some point. That'd be fun.
Yeah, let's hope he doesn't watch this. Actually, otherwise we might not get that invitation.
We get uninvited.
I think we held him responsible for the destruction of hill forts, didn't we?
Let's qualify. Let's add to that, and we'll say it's not
Now,
Paul Whitewick.
I'm not very-
It's just the train companies.
It's just the train companies, and it's nothing to do with Paul. I'm not great at the endings of these things, Pete, so can I let you do the ending?
Yeah. Well, I think I'm just going to cut everybody off. See you later, everyone. Thanks. Check out Darren's channel.
Oh yeah,
really
do
good.
that, yeah.
Check out Darren's channel. He's got videos on a bunch of these places that we've spoken about. I've got a video on the Mott of Mark as well, actually. So we've both got videos about a bunch of these places we've spoken about. I know. I'll add them into the video description, all the
Oh, yeah,
relevant
that's good.
videos. So if anybody wants to check them out, go do so. Thanks, everybody.